Hang out link?
Yeah, you can. Hey, it's the Redeye stream number 144. Is Twitter an evil which must be destroyed, or are adults just becoming idiots because they are destroying their own lives by tweeting stupid shit all the damn time? I.e., Roseanne, I'm looking at you. Like, yeah, I don't know, guys. It's just the reason this came up today is President Trump is conducting official business once again over Twitter. He yelled at the president of Iran in all caps, saying, "If you ever dare to threaten the United States again, we will no longer be taking it. We will destroy you in the way that civilizations have ever seen."
Yeah, he said some shit like,
"Will never be the same."
Yeah, don't pretty much like threatening them, like you will not feel pain like you felt from us ever. It was like not even a thinly veiled threat. It was straight up a threat.
Yeah, no, and this is official. This is official business of the United States government conducted over Twitter. Yeah, exactly. I get it. This kind of worked with North Korea, kinda, but come on, Iran is not North Korea.
Right, there's a big difference between because North Korea is known for their posturing, but fucking Iran, they're not a joke, dude. They're fucking Muslims already want to kill us, dude. You want to give more reason to want to kill us?
Yeah, I mean, and it's just the fact. Okay, sending a threat to the president of Iran, I can understand that.
Over Twitter, though.
Yeah, that's the problem. Over Twitter, what the fuck, dude?
It's getting really hard to. I mean. I'm not saying I'm not a crazy leftist. I really don't have, but he's getting really hard for me to fucking even stomach. It's not fiscally. I don't think he's doing horrible, but fucking he is not a diplomat at all. Not even a little bit. His diplomatic skills are non-existent.
Yeah, what do you think, Quinn? Do you think Theresa May should start using this tactic and conduct official British business over Twitter? I think that'd be great. You guys would have a nice laugh.
I think it'd be interesting, but in my full opinion, when it comes to Theresa May, I think she should just goddamn quit and walk away before she ruins it anymore.
They should just do away with fucking Congress and just start tweeting to each other. That should be our new form of government. Twitter.
Yeah, don't suggest that. It may happen.
The Twitterverse.
Do you really think that'll ever happen?
I was joking.
I was talking to Quinn.
Oh, okay.
Do you really think she'll ever quit?
Do I think she'll quit? No. Do I think she may be forced to quit? I hope so. She is at best incompetent, at worst malicious in her uselessness. I know that may offend some people. Well,
not me. I'm not British.
No,
oh no, she is incompetent. She is a completely incompetent fool who needs to be taken from her position entirely.
Oh yeah.
I would add taken out, back and shot, but that is my opinion.
But you're also a sociopath. So you have that.
Well, okay, you know what I would do if I'm a celebrity and I have a Twitter account? Man. I would kill it. I would kill the fucking Twitter account if I'm making fucking Roseanne money.
Twitter account's gonna kill him if he's not careful. For real.
Either that or hire somebody to manage it for you. Do not sit there drinking your freaking expensive whiskey and think, oh, this is a good tweet.
Trump's a teetotaler, dude.
Well, not only President Trump, I'm also talking about these celebrities, the Ambien incident with Roseanne.
Trump wasn't Ambien. Maybe.
That wasn't Ambien. Roseanne was drunk, and she decided it was a great joke. Whatever. It shouldn't have ruined her life, but it did. Twitter is ruining people's lives.
No, people are ruining people's lives by fucking taking everything so goddamn serious, dude.
Agreed.
Did you guys
people really need to quit apologizing to the Twitter mobs?
What was that? I heard you, Queen. What did you say, Buster?
I said, did any of you hear about the Rick and Morty co-creator?
That's another thing. He deleted his account. I don't know why, but
I thought.
Can I tell you why? It was because it was over a controversy of him in a comedy skit, doing like something to do with therapy, and he was like pretending or raping a baby doll or something in this skit of his. And
I heard it had something to do with pedophilia, but I didn't know the whole story.
it had some. It showed him naked lying on top of a baby doll, and like I guess it had something to do with rape or whatever. And like
well, that goes back to what is taking something too far. I mean, where does a joke stop? You know what I'm saying? Like, I mean, you got to use tact. I mean, when it comes to humor, yes, stuff's funny. It's funny to. I mean, people make fun of retards. People make fun of gay. You joke about raping a baby. I mean, well, it's tasteless. Yes, it's very tasteless, and you shouldn't do it. But I mean, I don't know. That's just tasteless. It's a matter of what your humor is.
From what I hear, though, he's made this joke. Real quick, though, Mole. From what I hear, he's made the same type of joke repeatedly. It was kind of his MO, which is really weird and not funny. And yeah, I'm not a fan.
Worse.
Well, okay. There is dark humor, there is morbid humor, and I mean, humor is. It depends on the context.
First of all,
everybody has their own sense of humor. I'm not going to tell somebody that they can't say something because there's the freedom of speech and whatnot.
Exactly, but like I was saying, you got to use tact, though. I mean, there's some things that are just too far. You just shouldn't joke. You don't joke about raping children. I mean, I don't see how anybody could find that humorous.
Agreed.
Yeah, no, totally.
Well, yeah.
And looking at the chat, Jacob's in the chat. He says the degeneracy never ends with these elites. I agree. Look at Podesta. Not to really dwell on him, but you know, MC says
that's a good point. MC, that is a good point. If you're gonna make a joke, don't. I mean, if you're gonna say something racy like that, say it to one or two people. Don't fucking announce it to the world.
Yeah,
and why are you out there not adhering?
But you have to make public jokes if you're a comedian. That's your job. So, I mean, why would you shy away from making whatever joke you would make on stage on Twitter? Because obviously, he considers himself a comedian.
Well,
I've never watched Rick and Morty. I can care less, but whatever.
Okay, well, first of all, when it comes to humor, you can't express humor through a text the same way you can verbally. You know what I mean? You lose context in it. Like Queen was saying, it's contextual. You can't if I were to text you something, a joke, and I mean, like I was being a smart ass serious through a text because you can't hear my voice. You know what I mean? You lose context in it in the text format is what I'm saying.
Well, yeah, you lose context in text messages all the freaking time. I mean, that just fucking happens. Like, have you ever been texting your girlfriend or your wife and they totally misunderstood what you said?
Oh, yeah, that was what was in my head the entire time I was talking. I mean, because I know I've done that. Like, I mean, I'll try to make a joke, and she's like, he even knows my sense of humor. So that's how I'm saying how easily it can be misconstrued. So
Twitter's not necessarily evil, but it is being used by people for what I would consider evil, to destroy somebody's life, to tear down their professional career. I mean,
evil's not the word I would use. I would say malicious, though. It's malicious. It's definitely malicious and dangerous for people.
See, I wouldn't necessarily say that Twitter in and of itself is evil, but the people that are on it are.
People are evil in general.
Well, yeah. Malicious is a better word for it. I mean, evil is kind of a...
Well, if we're going to talk about Twitter, I think Twitter has a double-edged sword, so to speak. They'll allow these people to say that they like for example, James Gunn. He said that it brings him joy that when kids touch his quote unquote silly place, it makes him happy or whatever. But then when some right winger says something that's moderately offensive, Twitter bans
Everybody jumps down their fucking throat.
It's like as long as you got that little fucking blue check mark next to your name, and as long as you're always spouting out leftist talking points, you're pretty much untouchable. So
Okay, I like
Twitter,
how you ended that sentence, because I was going to say that little blue check mark didn't protect Roseanne.
right.
Is all I have to do to become famous spout left wing fucking bullshit? Is that all I gotta do to become famous nowadays?
Pretty much. I don't know if famous is the right word. Infamous is probably better. Pretty much.
Hey, Mole, F5 real quick. You were breaking up a little bit.
All right.
Can I just promote a really useful tool real quick? If you want to figure out if you or someone you know is shadow banned on Twitter, and I found out through Andrew Torba on Gab, go to https 2 little dots in the air / shadowban.eu. That will tell you if you are found in the search results of Twitter, if you have a search ban, if you had a Fred shadow ban, if your reference tweet is okay or not. It'll search you through the quality filter. I highly recommend the tool. But I just wanted to throw that out there for anyone that's curious.
Thank you.
Yeah, I wonder if that's what MC used, because he's in the chat railing about Twitter right now, saying he's shadow banned himself. So yeah.
Hey MC, shoot in the Hangout chat. Give me your handle, your Twitter handle, and I'll run it through.
Oh, it's MCJK is his Twitter handle. I've been following him on there for a while. Yeah.
MC's just kidding.
Is it all lowercase?
All uppercase.
All uppercase. Okay. Also, I searched Sticks and like supposedly he's not shadow banned. MCJK.
Let me guess. Sticks didn't show up.
No, he did.
That's fucking surprising.
Well, it says right here, MCJK is he doesn't have a search ban. He doesn't have a Fred shadow ban. His reference tweet is okay. Reference tweet found without it as well as with quality filter. MCJK is not shadow banned according to shadowban.eu.
How do you find that out?
It's a tool. I'm gonna put it in the chat right now.
I didn't hear you.
Sorry.
He's gonna throw it. He's gonna throw it in the chat for you. So,
okay.
But no, when it comes to Twitter, there is competition. There is Gab AI, but Gab seems to be populated by either bots or Nazis. I mean, that's pretty much what's over there.
Or botsies.
Yeah, or botsies, whatever, fake Hitler accounts and shit. Like, I check my Gab every once in a while, but there's not really anything ever going on over there. And I'm not being rude with the Nazi comment. There is Christopher Cantwell. He is a self-described white supremacist, and he got kicked off of Twitter, and he is on Gab. I follow him on Gab.
We were talking about him a long time ago, remember?
Yeah, he did a debate with Adam Kokesh that was actually really good. I enjoyed that debate. Adam ripped him a new asshole, in my opinion, but it was a good debate.
Yeah, it's just a fucking shame, these platforms, man. They like, for example, if you get a strike for hate speech on YouTube, they'll say we appreciate and respect and free speech and all, but hate speech is totally isn't allowed. It's like you have free speech completely raw or you don't. It's like you can't say that you support free speech and then turn around and say, oh, but only certain kinds of speech is allowed. And it's not just the fact that you can get banned for saying offensive stuff like, oh, I like seeing Jews being thrown in the oven. No, they can construed something as simple as wanting a border wall as hate speech. That's what's going on in the minds of these fucking globalists and the SJWs and the leftists on YouTube and Twitter and Facebook. You know?
Yeah, no, exactly. And also, when it comes to Twitter,
They were saying that the Constitution was hate speech.
But it is.
Yeah, they can eat shit and die.
Oh yeah, and
I'm just joking.
The founders passed the 1790 Act. I think I'm not, I don't know, I don't know much about it, but supposedly it only allowed European migrants from Europe or something. I don't know. But like, you got to remember too that the founders were extremely traditionalist. They believed in their own people. No, not fuck. 1 second.
All of this makes me so glad I don't have fucking Twitter.
What?
Sorry. As I was saying, you got to remember that the founders owned slaves and they were traditionalistic, and they were nationalistic about their their race and whatnot, and that's how things were back then. So in a sense, I wouldn't call it hate speech, but things were way different back then.
How does it feel knowing your entire country is marked as hate speech because of your constitution? That has got to piss you guys off.
no, America, I'm cool with it. No, I don't think there's any such thing as hate speech, just like I don't really think there's any such thing as hate crime. There is crime. There is a call to action, which is a crime. But saying I don't like insert whatever the fuck you want to here doesn't equal hate. It just means I don't like them. Like insert whatever you want. I don't like.
I mean, any kind of violent crime would be hateful, wouldn't it? I mean, you don't love punch someone in the throat.
And they tried making lynching illegal, and it's like, isn't it already illegal to kill people?
That's what I thought. I'm pretty sure it is. Last I checked.
I mean, that's like spraying a swastika.
Maybe it's only illegal if I do it to someone of the other race. If I do it to another white guy, it'll be perfectly legal then?
Does that mean I can go burn a cross on my neighbor's lawn?
As long as it's white, dude.
Yeah, he's white.
Oh, it should be fine, man.
Fucking douchebag.
The way the left thinks today, that seems to be perfectly okay. I think it'd be all right.
Well, I know what I'm doing Saturday.
Nice.
he's over there roasting marshmallows on a burning cross in his neighbor's yard. That's a great Facebook picture. Oh, you'll get kicked on Facebook. Damn.
It's not a cross, it's a lowercase t.
Right. I fucking hate T's. What? I'm not a racist. I just hate Christians.
Yeah, exactly. But no, what you were saying about hate crime, I totally agree. You don't fucking, unless it's a crime of passion, you don't necessarily love or hate the person you're killing, really. I mean, a lot of times it could be an accident, I don't know. This idea that one person is black in the crime that happens, the other is white, the perpetrator is white. He gets a hate crime. Swap the spots around. The perpetrator is now black. He doesn't get charged with a hate crime. What?
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I think that, I don't know. I mean, if someone is convicted of a crime and it was racially motivated and they can prove it was racially motivated, maybe then so. Like if fucking someone came out and they're like, fucking, I hate Nick, and then shot a black dude in the face. I mean, that would obviously be a hate crime. Or vice versa. If a black guy came out and I hate honkies and shot a fucking white dude in the face, that should be considered a hate crime because it's obviously motivated by racial or whatever,
I still disagree. The motives don't really
matter.
Equate, and they don't really matter. No, murder is murder. The act of
motives.
Murdering somebody is the crime, not why you murdered them. Because I walked in and I caught my wife cheating.
They're both bad.
If I walk in, catch my wife cheating, and I shoot them both, and the dude just happened to be a black guy,
Yeah,
is that a hate crime? I mean,
no,
I
that would
obviously
be a crime
hated
of
him because he
passion.
was fucking my wife.
Yeah,
but
that'd be different. I mean, like, if that wouldn't be premeditated. I mean, that's what I'm saying. That it does make a difference in sentencing and stuff like that. Like, I mean, if like I were to go out and murder someone today, like, and you know, it wasn't premeditated, it just happened. That'd be a big difference than me fucking planning it out meticulously and going and carrying out the crime. Do you see what I'm saying? That
also
There's a
makes it
difference
harder to
between
convict.
premeditation and, oh, I really don't like this person, but he just happens to be right in front of me when I do this. So
yeah,
he gets.
I don't know. I mean, I'm just saying. I can see why they have it in place. I think all crimes are hateful. To be honest, I mean, it's not something you do in a loving frame of mind. You don't go out and commit crime. You don't go and mug someone because you love them, you know, or murder someone because you love them. You fucking do it
unless it's Old Yeller.
Yeah. Okay. I mean, unless you're like the Joker. The Joker just loved crime. Yeah, you know, he didn't commit any.
well, yeah, he was insane. But no, Sir Wolfie in the chat says, Mad Dodge, that is temporary insanity. Okay, a crime of passion has been argued as temporary insanity before, but it is the hardest defense for a lawyer to go with. It really is. And in the last 50 years, it hasn't really worked. It used to work a lot more.
Well, insane is a law term, not a mental term. Do you understand what I'm saying?
I think what they're saying, Mole, is in order to actually prove that.
Oh yeah.
Typically, when it's actually successful, usually there's a history of like mental health issues.
Yeah, and insanity in the court's eyes is just someone that isn't aware of the crime they're committing. They weren't aware of the ramifications.
They don't know what's going on.
Yeah, they're total psychosis. They have no idea what's going on, you know. Like, they could kill a baby because they thought it was like a fucking giant spider or some crazy shit like that. That would be insane.
That's drug-induced
psychosis.
Yeah, psychosis. There's the word I was looking for. Thank you.
Yeah, when you're voluntarily putting yourself under that, the law's not as forgiving.
Yeah. Which it shouldn't be either. I mean, it makes sense.
Well, Memes, you're a resident centrist. MC's not here, so I'm not doubt anybody will be calling you a communist today. But I'll go with centrist.
I'm a centrist.
How do you feel about Twitter? You jumped in a little bit late. Do you think Twitter is evil, or are people using Twitter?
Just evil.
I like evil. It's a stronger word. I'm going with it.
Evil, I'd say, also falls on a very broad spectrum. But as far as Twitter goes, let's entertain an idea. What happens if Twitter was down for a day?
The purge? I'm guessing people go nuts and start shooting their neighbors.
The only thing I'd be mad about is I couldn't promote my channel through Twitter. That's all I use my Twitter for.
Is that the right reason?
Yeah, well, no, dude. I'm just saying, like, maybe a lot of folks that maybe have a slightly unhealthy perpetual habit of use, aka maybe if they're a little bit of a Twitter addict, maybe they unplug and like realize I can go outside.
No, people don't remember where that's at.
No, I told you the sandworms are out there.
Hey, don't say his name.
Who? Beetlejuice?
No, don't say Beetlejuice.
Beetlejuice?
Oh,
yeah.
God. All right, Cabbage is going to be here soon, so we better all prepare. But,
MC, get in here. We need someone to argue with him.
No. Well, here's the thing. Twitter is literally incentivizing people to say crazy shit to each other. Dude, let me elaborate. Okay, based upon my, 16-month usage of logging onto Twitter, what happens? You create a Twitter. All right, you tweet something out. Nobody gives a damn. All of a sudden, you tweet something that's kind of out there that maybe some folks like, or you make a comment on somebody. All of a sudden, if somebody likes it, all of a sudden, you get a little notification, get a little shot of dopamine. You're like, ooh, somebody liked that. All of a sudden, somebody gets a retweet. Ooh. So if you say something completely out there, that's going to increase your statistical chances of being retweeted by somebody probably much larger, in a larger digital position of power, to get your name out there so you can gain more e-fame and internet points and everything. Like, it's incentivizing folks to stay on it and just be the first couple of comments there on the
Right.
Trump tweet or whoever it might be, or retweet this or say something. Like even my brother the other day, Stats, he messaged me something that what was it? One of those guys, Roger Stone or something, like commented on like one of his friends on Facebook saying so and so is a proud patriot or good American or something. And he's sending me the screenshots. I'm like, to be fair, he actually worked legitimately helping out for the Trump campaign at one point down somewhere in like the Bible Belt down there, like mid-America. And it's just like, yeah, we're incentivizing that stuff. But if you're not doing something or in a particular position, you just say the most out there stuff. So either someone's going to like it or they're going to hate it. Either way, you're going to get famous. It's the old adage to marketing. It's like no advertising is bad advertising, and especially if you could be anonymous or you're making a living off of being edgy or something. We're incentivizing folks to be mean to each other.
Well, no, and I was just trying to kind of, think through what you were saying, but I don't know, man. I honestly think a lot of it is this culture outrage, or outrage culture. I had that backwards, but that's really what's going on. You see us tweet and you don't like it. Oh my God, freaking. You comment on it and then you retweet it so your freaking friends will comment on it, and then suddenly it turns into this giant fucking thing. And then you have like, go ahead.
I'm sorry. You obviously see me talking to Russ. Do you care if I give him a link?
Yeah, that's fine.
Okay.
But yeah, no, as we're talking about how evil Twitter is, my phone went off with a Twitter notification and I checked it. So damn it. We're not,
Thanks, MD.
Yeah, we're not gonna be able to end it. I think that cat's already out of the bag. What can people do to protect themselves at this point then from at least their professional life? Remain anonymous, but with the doxing thing going around now, where everybody wants to create a doxing website, you can't really stay anonymous.
You could do that. That's one option, MD. Or the other thing is just say fuck it, because if all of a sudden you have all the avatars coming down, all of a sudden you have the trolls being released and everything, and all of a sudden, guess what? If you actually look somebody face to face in the eye, because I'm not sure if it was on this stream that we talked about or a past stream, I forget whose channel it was on, but literally, isn't there like either a state or in like the House of Representatives federally where you don't even make eye contact with the person you're looking at? As soon as I heard that, I'm like, that explains a lot, because if you have to argue via a third party and you don't have to look another human being in the eye, all of a sudden they're not humans. They're just random idea.
Easier to target something that you can't empathize with. It's much easier. That's why
exactly. I don't know about you guys, but at least when I grew up, they said if you're having a serious conversation with somebody, you look them in the eye.
That's why.
Here's the thing: unless somebody literally has an autistic or a spectrum-based diagnosis, like a actual medical reason, there should be no excuse you can't look another person in the face.
Yeah, you should. I mean, and I don't really like talking to people that I can't look in the face. I mean, if it's something serious, I should say. Like if I'm talking about a serious subject matter, then I want to look them in the face. But what you were saying about that memes is they did a back in the pre-World War II, they used to train people by shooting at round targets, and they found that when they went to war, that fucking people couldn't shoot at a human silhouette because they weren't trained to do it. I mean, it's not in our nature.
That's why we use silhouettes now when you go to the firing range.
It's just, isn't that kind of the same thing?
Dude, that is Plato's forms at its epitome, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean it makes total sense, doesn't it? I mean, it's the same thing. It goes back to
ancient Greece, man.
Yeah, because they were found that soldiers would shoot high. They would aim high on purpose because no one wants to fucking. I mean, people don't want to shoot people. Hey, Russ.
Exactly. No, dude. That's why I say most folks are good people and stuff. Just because, like, in order to go into the military and I really think like from Harry Potter, it's like killing or like at least like murder or just killing another human being is not in our nature because we see it throughout for different species. Yeah, occasionally species will kill each other and stuff, but it's usually an extenuating circumstance. So dude, that's interesting, man. I didn't know that.
I actually have a
Well, first, before you go on to that, Russ, let's get you caught up. Go ahead, Matt. Catch him up. Or do you want me to do it?
Oh, you do it. You led with the catching up. You go for it.
Well, okay. Well, we're talking about Twitter, and we're not, I don't like Matt saying it's Twitter evil, but I would like to put it a different way. Do you think that Twitter is dangerous to society, or do you think it's making people do malicious things? Or do you think Twitter's malicious, I should say?
I'm not exactly I understand the question.
Okay, so like people like Roseanne doing drunken or stupid tweets, that ruined her professional career. Donald Trump is now doing official United States diplomacy over Twitter with his little comment to Iran. I mean, really, this society seems, you get an idea in your head now and you immediately throw it on Twitter, good or bad.
If you, well, the thing is Twitter is not exactly good or bad. It is just a means.
Tool.
It's a tool to use to communicate with other people. The ideas themselves are only with the individuals themselves. So, for instance, her whole for the Roseanne Barr tweet, that was an idea all on her own. It's not like Twitter got into her mind and made her say this. So this is all really just, that's like asking you if, is a knife inherently evil?
That's not
malicious?
That's why I tried to word it differently. I'm
Well,
not saying
the British
itself evil. I'm saying, do you think that Twitter allows for people to be malicious?
But the British happen to think knives are evil.
Well, the thing is it's not that they think that the knives are evil, is they know what the people who are wielding the knives will do. The object itself is not evil. It's the people. It's the it's the thinking agent behind the tool that is either good or bad. And so, like I said, I mean, it can be done with anything. It's like, is a pencil evil? Is a key evil? These
I see
nonsensical questions.
It depends on whose eye it's going into.
I see your point, and I like the way you're going with this, but Twitter is ran by people. Twitter tends to favor certain groups over other groups.
Okay, but is it Twitter or the people behind Twitter?
That's
the people that created Twitter, but Twitter is their creation, therefore it's directly,
But it's still an inanimate object.
It is.
Okay,
go ahead.
Think about it like this: if you design a robot, and this robot's one function is to and let's just say it's a torso of a robot with the arms, and the one motion that this robot is programmed to do is to take the hand and kind of do it in sort of a chopping manner. Is that evil?
I so hoped you were going to say do the Macarena.
That's evil.
No. But is the chopping motion of the hand evil?
No, of course not.
Okay, so now put a knife in that hand and put a cutting board and a carrot underneath it, and it chops the carrot. Is that motion evil?
No, of course not.
Okay, now instead of that, put a child's arm in there and have this motion do that. Is that now evil?
That sounds like bad parenting, and that is kind of like
yes, but the thing is the robot itself was, or the inanimate object or the tool itself was not necessarily made for these purposes. The people who are wielding it and the people who are running it can use it for the purposes that they so intend. But Twitter itself is not intended for said purposes.
Obviously, but what I'm saying is, do you think Twitter makes it easier for people to be malicious to each other?
And to be stupid, because like I said, Roseanne, do you think she would have told that joke on a stage?
Do you think psychologically,
actually, I think she would have, because the thing is if these are somebody's ideas, if these are somebody's ideas, then the people would have said them somehow if they felt it was something that was really worth saying. They will say it in some way, shape, or form. If they didn't take it to Twitter, they would have done it on Facebook.
Yeah,
If they did it on Facebook,
they would have just found a different medium.
YouTube, or even on a stage. So these ideas themselves are the people. Now,
well, see, the thing is, I don't necessarily believe that she believes this idea. What I think is she was drunk, or as she likes to say, on Ambien. And this joke popped in her head. She's like, hee, that's funny. And she fucking wrote it out. Now, if she had to work a joke and do a skit on YouTube or do the joke during her set on stage, I don't think this joke would have made the grade. Therefore, it just makes it easier for people to do stupid shit. Well, kind of like Donald Trump with the Iran.
It's accessible. It just makes it more accessible.
But my thing with this is I don't think that I truly don't buy her story, and I don't really think she was drunk either. I think she was mad for some reason, or even if she was joking and she just said, "Oh, this is funny, I'm gonna tweet it out," because celebrities tend to do a lot of tweeting because that is the way they get more publicity in a way. Because if you say something, regardless of whether the words were meant for harm or not, they get retweeted, and people a lot of the time, especially when you're a celebrity, and like you said, it's free publicity.
Yeah, no publicity is bad publicity.
And so, so she said this, whether it be joke or something that she truly meant to be malicious, and it was received negatively. So she then concocted a story, and then even went a step further, because she also had a video with her on there where she sat there and publicly and loudly says, "I thought the bitch was white." And so she doesn't exactly really apologize about it. She didn't say, "Look, it was bad taste, my bad." She was just
she's not very remorseful.
Honestly, I don't think you need to apologize to the damn Twitter mobs. It only empowers them. It only emboldens them and makes them worse.
My problem isn't with the Twitter sphere.
Yeah.
My problem wasn't with the Twitter sphere. It was more or less to the woman it was directed to.
So are you just saying people should take responsibility for their own shit? Pretty much,
of course. Like, for instance, I'll take Molly here for instance, because he's the only one here that I actually know very, very well. Know better than the rest. So if I sit there and said something that was incredibly insensitive and very, very rude about Mole, take for instance,
he needs to be saved by Jesus.
Well, of course, that is the worst.
That would be insensitive and rude.
But say I did that.
To be sexually assaulted by Jesus.
And everybody had sat there and came up to me and said, "You were wrong for saying this. This was a terrible thing to say." Then I would, and if I actually felt remorse for it, I would man up and go to Mole directly and tell him, "Mole, I'm sorry my words were insensitive. I said them in the heat of the moment. Right. I apologize." And what she should have done was,
I could apologize for,
or even if I wasn't truly sorry, I would have gone up to Mole. I would address Mole directly and say, "Mole, I'm not going to apologize, but I do stand by my words."
Exactly.
But
I would respect you more for that.
Exactly.
I would, if someone was like offended by something I said, I'd be like, "I'm sorry I offended you, but I'm not sorry for what I said." You know what I mean? Exactly. I'm sorry that you took offense.
Exactly. It's like, I'm sorry you were offended.
Yeah, but that means that you're offended on their behalf. That's even worse, because that's like, I'm sorry for you feeling bad about something you shouldn't feel. It doesn't make any sense.
I wouldn't apologize, period. There's no point in saying I'm sorry for you being offended. Yeah. It's like, look,
that's the point. That's the point.
You don't apologize to a mob. You don't go, "Look, I'm sorry you're offended."
Stop apologizing.
That's it right there. Stop apologizing.
Yeah, you should
because it only emboldens them.
I'm embarrassed.
I mean,
you're talking,
if you genuinely feel sorry for what you said, like, look, I called you the worst possible name because I was drunk and I seriously fucked up, and you felt bad for it the next day, then yeah, you go and apologize.
And
if you're going to be honest, right? If you're going to be honest, you'd say, "I'm embarrassed for you being offended by that." You know, that would at least be honest.
Well, the thing that you were just I'm sorry, since I don't know your name. What is your name? Not you, Cabbage. I saw
Me?
Cabbage. All I see is the. Yes, ma'am.
Sharati.
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 Well, Sharati. All right. So Sharati, one thing is that you keep on addressing is apologizing to the mob. I'm talking about apologizing to the person in general. If you aren't sorry for your words, then if you want to go to the public and say it, or say to the individual, that's all up to you. But saying, "Look, I'm not going to apologize for my words. I stand behind them." So you're gonna have to take that for what it is.
If you apologize,
I will show
good old-fashioned integrity.
If you apologize to someone, it's because you within yourself realize you did something wrong and overstretched the mark. If you don't just apologize for everything, because then you're just kowtowing to everyone.
Yeah, well, you don't apologize for somebody else's way of receiving something because you can't.
Exactly.
I mean,
The reason I kept saying the mob though is because the topic is Twitter.
yeah,
so
exactly.
you get attacked by a mob, you're basically kowtowing to the mob. And I'm not going to apologize to a goddamn mob. I'm sorry. It's just not going to happen.
On Twitter, generally in my mind, I'm only responding to that one person that said that one thing to me. I know maybe 2 or 3 other people have read it, but I'm only responding to that one person.
Well, if we're going to stick with the whole entire Twitter thing, then I do feel like her apology towards the whole entire Twitter sphere was a fault on her behalf. She really should have DM'd that to the specific person if she could. If not, then in a public tweet, then say, this here is for this person.
You see, people are overcomplicating this. Look, just get over yourself. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I personally think that she was in the wrong for calling her what she did. But like I said,
so what is it? Well, I mean, that effectively makes it what? No more than a faux pas or something like that.
Right.
Jesus,
Yeah.
people get bent out of shape.
Real quick though, my big issue with the Roseanne thing and why I am somewhat on her side is this. Before the joke was even 30 minutes old and Roseanne could wake up in the morning and realize, oh shit, what did I do? The Valerie Jarrett was on the phone with Michelle Obama getting Roseanne fired. Roseanne woke up being fired.
Mad Dodge, as the new governor of a new state, are you trying to introduce a no coffee rule? If you haven't had your first coffee, you can't be held accountable for your actions. That's what that sounds like.
I'm not saying that. I'm not saying that. But you're saying that she should have apologized. By the time she did apologize, she was already fired.
What did you say? What should she apologize for? If she didn't, if she was sincerely sorry, then maybe she should apologize. But she was only doing it because she felt like, oh, I fucking pissed off society. Now I need to apologize. Fuck that. That's
exactly.
She was forced into the apology. It's not cool.
What did she actually say?
Yeah, but like an apology normally is when you've been in the pub the night before, say a Friday night, you've made an ass of yourself, and then you go down shamefaced. You say, "Oh shit, sorry, did I really do that? You know, my bad." Because you know, you actually
wake up in the morning and go, "I don't give a fuck about the rest of you." I got pissed last night. It was the best night of my life. Fuck the rest of you.
Okay, what she did is she compared Valerie Jarrett.
You know, sometimes if it's a local, and there's some.
Can I listen to Mad Cabbage?
Hold on.
Cabbage, sorry. Can I listen to Mad?
Yeah, he wants to know what happened. I want to tell him what happened.
Thank you.
Okay, what happened was Roseanne tweeted that Valerie Jarrett looked like a cross between ISIS and a character from Planet of the Apes.
Okay, and
that's what she did.
And did she?
Planet of the Apes. Yeah, she did. Well, no, actually, don't forget. Oh, don't forget. It was just regarding a haircut. It wasn't her looking like that. It was the haircut that she was talking about.
So she made fun of
It wasn't even about her face. Right?
Yeah, that's
how fucking facile
that
it
shit.
The
That's a
truth
joke.
is, yes,
Was
yes,
she
she
banging
did.
her at the time?
It's facile. It's like,
Why
so
should-
somebody says something bad about your hair. Does my ass look big in this? Yeah, no, your ass. No, that doesn't make your ass look big.
Do you realize what we're arguing about?
I mean,
A comedian
pathetic.
apologizing for a joke would be like a fucking carpenter
Exactly.
apologizing
It's
for hammering a
pointless.
nail in.
I'm guessing it
Yeah.
was pointless to apologise. It was pointless to
course.
apologise because
It
as
always
much
is to
as
these
you
people.
apologise, they're always going to say, well, that's not what I meant. That's not what I was saying. That's not...
Oh, that's not enough. That's not enough. Now you've apologised. Now we need you to build a
What
chantry.
I kind
And
of took away from it was that the joke was racist, but it really hit home.
Racist,
The level
why?
Of you take it in
It
that
wasn't.
she was comparing her to like a character from Planet of the Apes and the whole
Memes, you're
historical
doing
kind
it
of black
again.
content. No.
No, you're full
I
of
said
shit,
this-
man.
I said
You're
this
full
to
of shit.
MC before. As soon as I heard like when
Racist,
when
why?
MC read it, I'm like, ooh, that's
No.
racist, man. But then when you see the
Okay, well,
picture
okay,
there
well,
of
what
that
if she?
photo of her, you're
All
like,
right, so what if she?
ooh, that joke hits hard.
All right, what if she compared her to, say, someone from Avatar, right? I mean, just that, another fucking fictitious characters. Then it would be like, oh my god, then what? Would she Smurfist? I mean, fuck's
like
sake,
Smurfs.
give me a break. You know you are so full of shit memes.
Well, wait. So the what Meme just said was that it was a racist statement.
Why?
Well, it was
Is that
racist,
what it
but
was?
But
Well,
the
let
level
that
of
gentleman just
accuracy of the
explain that.
comparison was very creepy. So I think that was why it was a race. And here's the thing: are racist jokes bad? I think that is another question because, like, I remember like Chris Rock saying all these things about all these different people and everything, and it was hilarious.
Well, let's be honest. If we look at today's society, we've moved from a position 10 years ago where white people used to tell jokes, and then everyone suddenly got offended and said, you can't do that. And then it flipped on the other side, and now black people are telling the same jokes, and they're making money off it. And it's like, why can't white people do that anymore?
Why can't everybody just say what the fuck they want to say? You can choose to listen or not listen. You don't have to listen.
Well,
and if it's
the thing
directed
is,
at you, oh, go ahead, Russ.
It's about the consumer. If you don't like their product, move away from it. Don't attack them. Just move away.
The way I see this,
people are looking to be offended now. They're trying to find ways to be offended. It's how many ways can I be offended?
It's the old. Have you been in a car crash lately?
Yeah,
we can make money for you. That's the world now.
Everybody wants to be
lawyers.
Yeah, just
Okay.
just a minute.
When there's
Frustrated. Go
feelings,
ahead.
there's a claim. Yeah.
Gabby, just a minute. Frustrated. Go ahead. You keep trying to talk, and I think you're really getting frustrated.
Yeah. So there's a little bit of credence on both sides here because the way I see it is that when it comes to comedians, no joke is off limits. And if this offends anyone, oh well. But there are people who are just now the very first thing that is you can tell when something's okay to joke about is by the comedians. And the way you can tell is, like, for instance, there was somebody who, I forget who it was, he did a 9/11 joke. Everyone was just kind of like frozen for a minute, like they didn't know if it was okay to joke about it yet. And he says, oh, seriously, it's fucking too soon? And everyone started laughing. So, with that being said, I do believe that that comedians, if not anybody else, comedians at least, should have no holds bar when it comes to making jokes.
I don't think it. Well, yeah, but again, if that's the case, it was just comedians. Then
I wasn't
what?
done,
You have to get a comedy license so you can say what you feel. I mean,
Well,
shit. It's
no,
going to be either for
because-
everyone or nobody.
That isn't what he meant, though. What he's saying, though, is comedy shouldn't be censored.
I don't think he was done.
Yeah, nobody should be. I don't think
No, let him
comedians should get
finish.
an exemption.
No. I wasn't saying that that only comedians should be able to do this. I think everybody should. But what I was saying was, if there was only one group of people who could be able to joke about anything, then that should be comedians.
Yeah,
That's
and
what
then
I'm
it would all
saying.
be redundant because
This was
we wouldn't be able to repeat the jokes, would we? So it would all be redundant anyway.
Like I said, this was an if, a what if, a scenario. So everyone should.
My
have
uncle
the
was
right
my
to say-
auntie.
Exactly, but what I'm saying was that everyone should be able to make jokes. But
can I just jump in with a stupid?
Hello,
guys. Hey, mate. I just want to jump in with a stupid thing. It's
Hey,
that
Bash.
when I joined this stream, I wanted to jump in and say, "Hello, everyone. Hey, dudes, how you doing?" Now, in the leftist point of view, filled clearly under identity politics, I've just left Shrai out because she's not a dude. But my language is just a dude. It's just everyone that's here, dude, everyone. And I'm you know, and I'm not trying to offend her. I'm not trying to be nasty to her, but it's just that's the way it is. In any situation I'm in life, it's just if I walk into a room and go, "Hey guys," it doesn't mean I'm trying to say, "Hey everyone that's male, everyone that's white patriarchy and fuck the rest
people.
of you."
Hey people.
It's just my vocabulary, my language, my training, my schooling doesn't allow me to say hello, ladies and gentlemen, and all, and it would sound stupid.
Yeah, political correctness.
That's what's wrong with the world. That's what's wrong with the world.
Yeah, funny you mention that. I have a gay coworker, and he actually got offended because like I saw him and I was like, "What's up, dude?" And he was like, "Did you just call me dude?" And I was like, "Yeah, what's wrong with that?" And he's like, "Oh, I prefer to be called by unknown." I was like,
"What?"
Wow. Did you really just worry about me? That's funny.
Yeah, no, and I'm going to do it in the future. From tomorrow morning when I wake up, I'm going to walk out into the world, and when someone says, "Hey, man," I'm going to go, "I'm not a man, I'm a fucking woman. What's wrong with you?" And when he goes, "Sorry, dude, sorry, ma'am," I'm going to go, "Well, I'm gender fluid, so I just changed back to a dude." And you just
now I'm offended again.
What the fuck?
I'm sorry, but I'm
What
identifying
the
as a
fuck?
chieftain tank today.
Yeah, exactly.
At that point.
Claim both my barrels.
Man, I decided I'm gonna identify as a whiskey sour today. So, I think I will fuck with you all.
Hoorah.
I'm going to identify as someone who is never wrong. The rest of you deal with that.
Hashtag Dragonkin.
Fuck you, dragons. But unless it's Parthenax.
Hey, we might be the majority right now.
Yeah.
Parthenax.
You mean
Am I the
majority
only
of
one who
dicks?
kills Parthenax in Skyrim? I killed that fucker. He was dead.
Yeah, that's why I've stayed away from your streams, Mad Dodge, because I know you're a Parthenax killer.
Oh yeah, you can tell that, huh?
Yeah, just from your voice and not the voice. Is there, you know.
Dragon lines matter.
No, the trick is to turn on the Macho Man mod.
Where is the voice? I want him here. Get my Irish man here now.
Why the fuck would you want someone here who's just going to fucking blow everything fucking up?
That's my
Because
job.
I enjoy his growl. I want him here now.
It's
Yes,
awesome,
well,
but you
you
don't
know,
understand
it's not your
the
dominatrix
growing up under a British nation rule behind him.
That was good.
He actually genuinely means
Part Irish.
Well, he's not.
There's
British.
no part Irish.
Okay, so
No,
today's
he's not a
topic
mad
is
Catholic.
since today's topic is Twitter. Is it okay for a company to shadow ban you? So they're still letting you use their service, but they're hiding you from growth. And if you're a YouTuber, that really sucks. Is that
I've been
okay?
shadow banned, and no, it fucking sucks.
Well, here's the thing. I'm a libertarian.
Companies are allowed to do it, and
I'm a libertarian. I'm worried about government intervention into the private marketplace. Which, if the government regulated them to say, no, you're a utility, you have to allow everybody to have access, that would be a problem to me. But then again, a company just blatantly fucking having an agenda and pushing that agenda is also messed up. I'm a little conflicted on this one. Go ahead.
More scary.
These big fucking companies, they're a monopoly. And that's what they are at the end of the day. Just big fucking companies that hold a monopoly. YouTube, it probably has 90% of
streaming.
It's one of the most biggest websites out there, and I could give a fuck less if the government makes a public utility. It's a business and it's supposed to turn a profit.
Well, that's why I use.
Go ahead.
Sorry.
No, that's fine.
It's like the trust busting that went on back in the 1920s. Do you break up the trusts or not? You know, the trust fund families.
A world was created where global corporations are now in charge above the governments. Take that thought. Do what you
no, it's true. Corporatism. Yeah, I mean, that's what Mussolini said. You know?
It's never, everyone's complaining about capitalism, but they're not looking that one step beyond where actually, yeah.
Well, I do believe that government intervention into the private marketplace is a very big detriment to society. I come from the Austrian School of Economics, not the way they do it. So I really don't like the government intervention here. But the alternative is Gab. Like we talked about before, Gab's not really working out that well. I'm on there, but
I think in some ways, in some ways, we're all looking at the world in a Rose and Peaches dream kind of state where we go, well, you know, capitalism is fantastic and would work if it was done properly. Communism is fantastic if it would work and it was done properly, and socialism is fantastic. But the people that are actually in power aren't implementing it in that way. So I think democracy is a fantastic thing, but they're not implementing it in a democratic way. They're not giving me the vote. And well, you guys take that with you.
Yeah.
Well, no, it's true because, you know, it's like when you get corporations who are being massively subsidized, and then they're not actually competing on a level playing field. So you don't have free market economics, you have biased economics. You know, so it obviously is going to skew everything, and that's
absolutely. And those subsidies create a monopoly that the government then breaks apart and gives subsidies to all the pieces of the company they just broke apart. It makes absolutely no sense.
Well, it makes no sense because you're not in the top 500,000% of fucking people in charge. It makes no sense because they're doing it to you as opposed to you doing it to them.
I don't want to do anything to anyone. I just want to be left the fuck alone to get on with my life.
You know, if I want to be in the 1% just so I can have my fucking castle. That's it. I'll leave everybody alone. I just want to live in my castle, drink some beer. It'll be great.
Having a castle, man. Yeah.
Cabbage, you go into the woods and try and start collecting rainwaters, the government's going to pull you back in and say, fuck you. You're paying taxes. You don't like you. It doesn't matter. We'll send federal agents. You're paying taxes.
Yeah.
You fuck you. That's what they're saying. The government
intervention.
Exactly.
Yeah. Are you planning on building your own castle?
No, my family, I traced my lineage back. My family owned a castle in England. I want it back. I'm petitioning the Queen as we speak.
Yeah, but it was such a distant relative, and it wasn't a direct. And anyway, if you want to live in a castle, good fucking luck to you, mate. Because I grew up in a very big house, and I tell you now, they're not comfortable. They are fucking drafty. They're cold in winter. They're overly hot in summer. They're not fun places.
It's only for the tough enough English.
Seriously, that's why you always see them wearing sweaters and things.
No, it'd be a nice summer house. Anyway, go ahead.
Yeah, well,
I was just saying that we actually apparently do have a mansion somewhere over in England. Since nothing about my name is online, I'm not going to say what the last name is. But the only reason why I know this is because my mother had gotten an invitation for a family reunion to the family mansion that's in England.
Well, dude, I know a little bit about survival, not a lot, but hit me up. Come over. We'll fortress that stuff with maybe Mr. Cabbage and maybe Mr. MC and some of the non-American people. Well, maybe Shy because she's nice.
We'll declare it a free state.
Oh, you don't know me too well, sugar.
But that's kind of the psychological conditioning. That's kind of the psychological conditioning. I think I was talking about a stream, or no, I wasn't on the stream, but I was in the chat earlier. Is let's treat women different to men. Let's treat women like okay.
Let's treat
Okay.
women like women should be treated, as
Well,
in men should rule the house.
Oh no!
That is, men should rule the house.
I can entirely agree with that statement.
And it's not sexist. It's not a misogynist. Fuck anyone that says that, because I had this conversation with my other half earlier, and I was trying to explain to her that men are stupid, men are dopey, men are just physical.
No, we're not. I'm so sick and tired of that fucking analogy.
No. Explain to me afterwards why. But we're just stupid, dopey, and in a parental relationship where two people have a child, you have to have both sides. You have to have the man that's stupid. We just do this stuff, and we just basically it was
Are you
over the word.
truly that daft?
It was over the word cunt, and I hate that word, just absolutely hate it, from females, from males. And I was trying to say to my other half that it's just men. You expect men to be stupid. In my timeline, in the period that I've lived, growing up, you expect men to be stupid, and then the woman is supposed to shape the family home.
Excuse me? I expect the man to dominate. I expect the man to dominate the house while the woman cleans and takes care of the children.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Natural evolution.
Yeah, we'll be such a fucking moron, then it's not going to be a house there. I mean, this idea that somehow the man is a fucking moron and we should perceive that as being a natural order.
No. I'm just saying the man is supposed to be dumbered down.
Fuck you.
All right, go on.
No, the man is not supposed to be stupid. The man is not at all supposed to be stupid. He is supposed to reign supreme over the house.
Jesus.
That is how it is in my house. My husband is smarter than I am.
Lord of the Manor.
Treat you badly?
Oh, fuck no, he doesn't treat me
Well, there
badly.
you
Not
go.
at all.
So that's added to what I'm saying.
Yeah, I have a problem with all of that. On both accounts,
And
really.
why do you have a problem with that?
Well, because I don't see myself as superior to my fiance. I don't see myself in any way, shape, form better in any way, shape, or form.
But you are different.
She is still a human, and she deserves to be equal, just like I am. We both.
They should all serve the patriarchy. Let's face it.
We both work.
Thank you, Sir Vash.
There are two tasks that need to be completed. And
making sandwiches and blowjobs.
It's better if a man and woman get together and complete those tasks together.
Well, I don't want to give
Whatever they
a
are.
blowjob to a woman. That would make them a man.
Within your life, there's two tasks completed.
Wait a minute, guys. Though.
That's what I don't get, right? You say there's two tasks to be done, but then you say, well, men are just fucking retarded. So, well, I mean, what good are they to do any task, right? I mean, apparently the man's just going to be...
They're dumbed down enough to go out and hunt animals.
No, real quick. Let him finish. He was in the middle of trying to explain his position. You guys cut him off. Let him finish. I want to hear his position on this. Go ahead, sir.
Who was that?
Frustrated. He was midway through what he was saying. He got cut off and drowned out.
Sorry.
So.
In my house, both of us work. Both of us do cleaning. Both of us take care of the horses. Both of us do everything. Now, that just means that we are both equal in our own house. I'm not going to say now. I do, if we didn't have two vehicles, I do make enough to where if my fiance wanted to, she could stay home. She wouldn't have to work. But even if we're only down to one vehicle note, she would still work because she enjoys to do that. And she enjoys working. So she actually, once we get back from our honeymoon, is going to go into college so that way she can actually become a nurse. And if she wants to do that, go ahead. Because she has every right to do that as a human being. We treat each other with mutual respect, and we give it in return. To have someone in the household that is above the others, and again, my opinion, because not every household is the same, but in my opinion, if you have someone who is above someone else in the household, then there leads to problems, especially when you go to have, say, children, for instance. I know that with my ex-wife, she considered herself to be the more dominant figure in the household. And because of that, because she kept doing that, her children never respected me. I would sit there and tell them no, and I had my stepdaughter look me straight in the face and say, "Mom, can I have this?" And so it's that mutual, once you have two people in the house that are on equal playing field, then regardless, what ends up happening is any children that you have will then have a mutual respect for the both of you.
That's a fair point, but I think what her argument is equal but different. Men and women have different roles traditionally.
Sorry,
I think
but
that's what she was
that's
talking
not
about.
true.
No, not at all. That's not at all what my argument was.
Okay, then reconfigure it so we can understand more clearly. That's what it sounded like.
Stop mansplaining, Mad Dutch.
I take care of the household. My husband is the breadwinner. I am a stay-at-home mother and also a homeschooler. I take care of the education. I take care of the house. I take care of mowing the lawn, shoveling the snow. I take care of the children. My husband does the money thing. My husband rules the house. I take care of it.
So basic
Which is
gender
fine
roles.
for you. The point I was kind of trying to make was that in my relationship, if you want to go for pounds per hour, my other half earns more than me. She's the breadwinner. But we construct something together that hopefully teaches the children something in the future.
You know, pounds per hour. What is that based on? Market value, or is
No,
that
that's just
on the
pounds
amount of
per hour.
hours that somebody?
No, that is
genuinely.
That is genuinely cabbage. That is genuinely me saying, well, I earn £8 an hour and only work 32 hours, and she earns £10.20 an hour and works 40 hours. That's just
there you
maths.
go. Well, you know, fair enough then. So, you know, I mean, but that's where, you know, you are, right? I mean, that's the lifestyle.
Yeah,
well, I mean, it's probably not even your choice,
me.
right? It's just what you've got to do.
But it doesn't unman me. It doesn't make me think, oh, I'm less of a man.
Well, I don't know then. Where did this fucking thing about the, you know, men being idiots or whatever come from? I still don't understand why that fucking
evolutionary speaking, from hunter survival perspective, men are generally. Is someone going to give me an honest? Look. Okay, let me say, evolutionary speaking, men were meant to be the hunters, meant to be strong, stupid, dumb, run out there and take down a fucking tiger to bring it home, and everyone gets to eat. Is that correct?
Is that
okay?
It's not. No, it's a ridiculous caricature, is what it is.
How would you
like something out of you know?
You're very wrong, because I can go down and hunt just as well as my husband.
Now you can.
No.
40,000 years in the future, but how did we evolve to it?
What he's saying is through a scientific.
Of course, I mean.
Through a scientific thought and looking at it through that as humans being animals, which we are.
Yes, I know what he's saying, but he's wrong.
Was there a woman saying, well, you dragged home a Tyrannosaurus Rex, but it just wasn't the money. You just didn't get it right.
Look, well, you're not understanding evolution right at all.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Well, explain to me, please.
Well, I'm at least trying to explain where he's going.
Your version.
Yeah. So the way evolution works is now the only case you have in this instance is that by evolution, men are physically stronger than women, and that's just simple biology. However, that whole entire idea that men were going off to do this because being stupid or whatever, and women were smarter so they stay back. No, as a matter of fact, there was probably a lot of men who were not physically capable of being able to hunt, so they would also be gatherers. And then you probably had some women who were probably a lot stronger than some of their male counterparts in these individual little groups.
Or even the ones that are leading the hunt.
Can I ask, are we talking about the way you're explaining it says to me, it's just a question. The way you're explaining it to me is that 100,000 years ago, when the only amount of people that existed was 10,000 people, is the same equivalent to today when 6 million people existed. I'm saying back 100,000.
No. What was happening during that time was a tribal. That was a tribal type of society. Now we have evolved past that to where we are into a socio or a sociological type of evolution.
We've always been social creatures.
Yeah, but on the internet, it's evolved even more so now.
Well, not
but no, going back right to this idea that we're all, they were all morons. No, I mean, who was the guy who probably put the first piece
morons
of
has been left behind. No, right? that's something I was wrong on. Because you didn't understand. That's something I've been left on. You can't use morons anymore because I was saying morons as in men were specifically used to go out and hunt animals.
They weren't used.
And
that's what they had to do to live.
Okay.
I mean, this is the thing that you're making out, that it's some kind of, again, a sort of social construct. No, people did what they had to do.
Hunter-gatherer. At that stage, men hunted, women gathered.
And again, I'm saying that's not necessarily
that is an assumption. That is an assumption.
Yes,
because you see. Okay, Maz. Let's say that you're a soy boy. Okay.
Yeah. No,
Let's just say. And I'm not actually calling it. I'm just saying it as an example.
No, go with it.
But let's say frustrated atheist is the big, jock, like you're trying to interpret. Well, let's say frustrated atheist goes, I going to take down Sabretooth. You go, well, actually, I'm not strong enough to take down a Sabretooth. He looks down at you and goes, you pick berry. You make spice. Guess
I'm
what?
not quite sure. Yeah,
you're a gatherer. That's how it works.
No, and the thing is, you would actually be you'd be a liability if you were to be on something like that, unless they wanted to use you as a chum or something like that. They could maybe throw you out there so they could catch something.
In a more modernized scenario, like he just said, basically yes. What it is these stronger ones usually did go out and hunt.
I kind of want Quinn's opinion on this.
Are you sure you want my opinion on this?
He'll just tell you that the last 100,000 years didn't exist.
No,
that's next Wednesday.
It was aliens last week.
Anyway, go ahead.
We're all living in a virtual reality.
With all the taking the piss, let's actually hear what Quinn wants to say.
Yes, Mr. Quinn.
All right,
Mr. Quinn.
Strangely enough, I'm going to sound all centrist here, but you're kind of all right while all being wrong at exactly the same time. The point with the soy boy, he would actually...
Oh, fucking hell. He's replaced memes now. Oh, no, now memes has come back.
Garbage.
I heard you say, go pick berries and build spikes, so I assumed we were talking about Ark Survival Evolved.
Memes, shut up. I want Quinn's opinion.
For me. And I need the fiber for clothes.
Boys, I want Quinn's opinion.
Right, as I was saying, with the soy boy thing you put in earlier, he would be bred out because he wouldn't actually be allowed to breed with the women. Therefore, he becomes a evolutionary mistake.
Anomaly.
Wrong.
You reckon?
Wrong. No,
Whoa,
I'm not with you.
Let him finish.
No.
Let him finish his train of thought, Mr. Quinn.
No worries, though I really want to hear why wrong comes in. The only way it classes as wrong is because the modern attitude towards the weaker, and at which point we help them.
No, it's not. It's the fact that no matter what kind of creatures you have, you're always going to get weak individuals within the species. You see this all the time, all the way throughout the animal kingdom. So it doesn't matter if one individual was weak and he died, the weakness will still not be bred out.
Well, no, you would never get bred out.
You will still get a species that will have weak individuals. So let's go with...
it can be sacrificed, like the
Let's
Greeks
go with
did.
the Australopithecines, for instance. If you had an Australopithecine that didn't actually... wasn't what they were supposed to do. If he was like, say, for instance, he couldn't climb trees all that well, then that one individual will die out. However, throughout the entire Australopithecines, you will still get ones that cannot climb up in the trees or something. So you will always have that all throughout history of any species. So saying that the weaker ones will die out and no longer exist is false.
One problem with that is the fact that in a survivalist situation, which is what this would actually equate to, if the group can't provide enough for the group, then the weak, as defined in this case as said soy boy, would be the one getting the least food, if any, at which point it would cease to exist. My point
that
is,
but that doesn't...
No, hold it. My point
I think what he's trying to say...
Whoa! Quinn.
Let Quinn speak.
Yes, thank you.
Quinn speak.
They wouldn't actually let the soy boy, again, we're using that as the term, breed with the women unless the woman, for whatever freaking reason, decided to bug off with him and get pregnant.
Unless they needed to breed a trait in.
Actually, let's say that they want. Let's say that they want someone like they want more people like him, because the soy boy, while he's not strong physically, while he's not strong physically, maybe he's good at counting. Maybe he's good at going, okay, you guys should have this much supply so that way we can ration it out. Because there's more to society than just the brute. There's more to...
That's a good point.
Like, there's establishing trade.
Yes, but again, but that's we're talking about that's a much more developed society than
that's how society.
Years ago.
No, Cabbage, you're focusing on
100,000 years ago, they couldn't count.
Years ago.
No, whatever.
Exactly. When they couldn't count. When Cabbage spoke up to me 100,000 years ago, I'd club him over the head with a fucking bone off a deer, and he would be gone. His genes would be gone.
Even going back 3,000, 5,000 years, they used to put any child that was kind of weak or whatever, they just leave it, let it go. They'd release it.
Quinn. Hold on, everyone. Quinn. So I'm not disagreeing with you on this. Cool. The weaker ones would die out. However, you are looking at it from a singular group. The entire species did not run in a singular group. So you have multiple smaller groups. No, you are talking about hunter-gatherers. They were more small groups, like at the max anywhere between maybe a family to two. And these were nomads, so they constantly were moving. So you have several groups of these. And each time that a child is born doesn't necessitate that just because the man was strong, that the child would be strong.
No, you're right there.
nothing. Nothing there.
But
is
isn't that
going
where
to-
the mother's influence comes in as well? having both.
No,
not just
that's
having.
not exactly
I
it.
think he's talking genetic lottery in this instance.
I can guarantee you right now that my
Yeah, exactly.
my dad is.
I mean, of course. Look, I understand, right?
You're breaking up badly, Cab.
Yeah, you broke up, but no,
Okay,
I've been trying to get a point.
me.
I've been trying to get a point across here for a
What
second.
we heard was you
Let
understood.
Mad talk.
Yeah, it is my show. But I've been trying to get a point across here. I've been sitting back and just listening, and I think you guys are failing to realize the actual. Somebody had to be the counter cabbage. There had to be a group of people, not just one, but a group of people who their brain expanded to the point where they figured out how to fucking count. Kind of like I just saw a video on these monkeys that are now using tools. They have entered the Stone Age. They are using stone tools to break open shit and to dig, and they have now
ages ago.
And for anyone who doesn't understand now, look up Joe Rogan. Look up Joe Rogan and see.
Hey, Mad wasn't done talking, and I'm drinking, so that means I'm talking.
Apologize.
Shut the fuck up and let Mad talk.
No, real quick. Real quick. The interesting thing about these monkeys, okay, is the same species of monkey is on the other side of the island and in the surrounding area. It's only this one group that have now entered the Stone Age. The rest haven't. And you would think that some people from this group, monkeys from this group, would move to the other and spread the technology. It's not happening. So when you're looking at evolution, it gets really, really fucking complicated, because you don't necessarily know what traits are going to be bred throughout the continuation of the line. And when you have these small groups, they evolve at different paces. Okay, so one group might have a group of, they're mainly just gatherers, because a lot of the men are less physically built, but more mentally. And they're evolving tools to actually do the job, not just brute force. I mean, you have separate evolutions going on within the same society, because they're broken up into small groups. And now I'm done. Go ahead.
But Mad Dodge, this is the thing, right? It was, there might have been people who, ended up doing the sort of clerical work and things like that. But who was in charge? It was the kings. It was the wands. It was the, the warrior who were actually in charge. I mean, you might have had a bunch of cucks who were, little, but they were way down the pecking order in that regard. It only started building up at the point where we got into the kind of structured civilizations that we have now, where, there are lots of different responsibilities.
Yeah, but you're telling me intelligence didn't come into when we actually hit that breaking point, and then the cards started to fall?
Yeah, but again, it's the same argument as what was being made before, is that, look, you can't wean out, there's always going to be the genetic, deviation. So you're going to get people who are going to be soy boys. That's always going to happen. Even if it's like you could get the two most, physically perfect specimens of, womanhood and manhood, and, She-Ra and fucking He-Man, right? You bang them together and they could end up, spitting out a wiener. That's possible. Okay, that is genetics and it's feasible. So you are always going to get them. The difference is then how society utilizes those people. Now, the Greeks used to take them up onto a hill and leave them there, whereas other groups, they were allowed the opportunity to, perhaps find some way of contributing, whether it was through gathering or, like you said, coming up with ideas or something. Becoming creative.
So you're referring to OG She-Ra and He-Man, correct?
Yes, not the new one. Definitely not the new one.
God, have you seen what they've done for the new one?
It's amazing.
They're going to turn He-Man into She-Man, and that's going to piss me off.
Wait. Have they come out with a new He-Man concept?
Not yet.
I don't know. Somebody will be working on it. You can guarantee it.
Everyone's not going to like it, but Stardom brings a bit on there.
Okay, He-Man was already gay as fucking springtime, okay? Can we all agree to that?
Hoorah.
Hey, I made my kids sick of that shit.
He-Man.
I saw He-Man on Netflix. I made my kids sick.
It was very homoerotic. It was very fucking homoerotic.
I enjoyed He-Man and She-Ra.
I'm not saying He-Man wasn't bad back in the day. Today it's just fucking horrible. But it wasn't bad back in the day.
I don't think the He-Man was ever like that.
Skeletor was worse.
Yeah,
The
but
man
look, you're
his
saying this
sword
stuff.
in the air while
And Sargon already did a bit on
I
this,
have
and
the
he
power.
said they've basically taken She-Ra and turned her into a male.
A transsexual.
Yeah, exactly. It's just basically you've taken a fully grown woman at the peak of her performance, in the same way you would with He-Man. In his peak of his performance, you've taken She-Ra to the peak of her performance, and then you're drawing characters that look like 12-year-old fucking boys.
Yeah, just a
But
male,
you know the
female
hell out of
trans.
me because She-Ra was so beautiful in her
She-Ra
art design.
was an empowered woman that could get shit fucking done.
Yes, but you see, fat chicks, and the woman who did this was a fat chick. She's a fat lesbian. You know,
Well,
and
I had
so obviously doesn't like the idea of beautiful, empowered women. She doesn't like
it
that.
necessarily matters, but I mean, aren't they just doing the Teen Titans Go thing, which, if done right, it can work. But if you're just doing it,
she's doing her own thing. She did this herself. She didn't get like some kind of information as to what she should do. I mean, this is actually just came out of her. This is her creation.
Okay,
I think in some way memes we're saying back when I was a child, She-Ra was an powerful woman that could teach me values that would lead me through life, and they've changed it to a trap who is gonna just teach me SJW
Let
nonsense.
frustrated atheist talk.
Yeah. Frustrated.
Shut up,
atheist.
Shirati. You're not the fucking boss of us.
Oh,
No, go
but
with
I
that.
am.
No, you're not. I know you like your Dom thing, but shove it up your ass when I'm around.
Oh, sugar, you have no idea.
Yeah, right. Yeah, big tough woman. Yeah, you're gonna come and beat me up. Fuck off.
No, I like being dominated, Sugar Plum.
Yeah, he missed that earlier.
Good. Well, in that case, shut up. Go and sit
No,
in your
she
corner.
wants this. Shuck your fucking cockholsters.
The fact is, you can tell her to shut up, but then
Now
there'll
let
be
whoever the
big
fuck
dominating men that will tell you to shut the fuck up.
I believe it was frustrated atheist, right?
No, and this is his. Yeah. Go ahead, but real quick, this is your first time here. This is the Redeye. I'm sorry, it's chaotic, but sorry.
Don't apologize. That's all.
Most of the times, I just tune people out whenever I'm in his live stream until I hear something that I want to put my 2 cents in with. So it's no problem with me.
It's kind of a little bit of an overlay with Deviants. Sorry.
But so one thing we're forgetting is the fact that you have to look at what these are trying to the targeted audience.
What is their goal?
For instance, the She-Man and the He-Man was the targeted audience back in the day towards kids, and those kids liked it. Now, the reboots are targeted to the kids of today who watch things like Adventure Time and all these other different things. So they're going to watch something that they want to watch. If you just reboot a cartoon that kids of today found boring, you're not going to get anybody to watch it. So
that's almost a money thing.
Well, that's exactly what it is. That's exactly what the original.
That's a money thing. Every
that's what the original
to 15 years, they take the old stories that they were telling before, and they reshape them into a new
lazy.
And the old stories were also done for money. You really think that someone said, "I'm going to create She-Ra and do this because it's the right thing to do or to teach kids value"? No, they said, "I'm going to create a story that people want to watch and are interested, so I can make money."
I heard a phrase or saying before, and I can't contribute it to anyone, but whoever did it, fair play to you. And it was basically that, do you ever wonder why? It's basically, superhero stories like Marvel and DC and all this, they just have to find a different way to tell the same story over and over and over again for the millions of dollars of Hollywood. Sorry.
Yeah, and the thing is, well, I mean, and when you're looking back at the old cartoons, I mean, they always had like this moralizing story. Well, the Americans one did. I mean, the British ones didn't tend to do that. We tended to have slightly darker ones. Although we said that, like Danger Mouse and things. I mean, nobody, was going to get a moral message out of Danger Mouse, really. But like the end of a cartoon, they always had, like, oh, well, we've learned a new lesson, and the sun coming up over the canyon or whatever.
Danger.
But there was a principle behind it, and it wasn't that He-Man. I mean, people can say that He-Man's gay, but no, I think that He-Man got turned into a gay icon by gay. I mean, this is what I mean. Talk about a misappropriation of things. It's the sort of the gay community that adopts these things, and then other people have to kind of cast them aside because it's like, well, I don't want to be seen as gay. You just misappropriated something. That's not what the message was originally, but you want to make it gay just because the dude's wearing a codpiece.
It's why
then all right.
It's why I love the Next Generation, because every episode I watched, or TNG, and you can all get freaky about it, but it's why I loved watching it, is because every episode somewhere in there had a moral message that I would try to learn from.
Yeah, most of it was socialism.
Well, maybe that's what I am.
Well, like I said, though. Okay, so what year did the She-Ra come out in?
Was it 80? Yeah, it was about 85, 86, something like that.
So you're looking at a time frame where I think TV was still in the adults' minds of rotting the brain. So if you were an adult and you have a child in the 80s, and you can either have these children watching Tom and Jerry, which really didn't have any kind of substance to it. It was just slapstick funny stuff. Or
I don't know. You remember the old black woman? Like, Thomas, get in here! Holy moly! Oh my goodness!
But would you rather, as an adult in the 80s, where you're in the mindset that TV is nothing but rotting the brains of the youth, are you going to want them to watch that, or something that actually can teach your children?
Yeah, a moral. Yeah, but the thing is,
that's also, I think, the reason why we've turned around.
If I'm a television, writer, or whatever, and I want to make a television show that is going to be sold to the children are going to love to watch, I'm also going to have to take in mind of the parents. That's why you still see things like Disney movies where it's directed at children but with enough adult humor in it for the adults to be interested, so that way they can take their children to go and watch these things. Because if you don't cater to both the child and the adult, then you're not going to be very successful. You're not going to make money.
Well, no. The thing is, no, that works in cinema. In the films, that works when it's like, Despicable Me and things like that, or Ice Age. But when it comes to cartoons where you're just plonking the kid in front of the TV and you're going to... It's only if you're actually engaging with your kid during the program. And most of the time, these things... At one time, you would watch everything together,
Well, that's why we...
But now, it's not the case.
You can just plop a kid in front of it and have 30 minutes.
That's what I mean. That's Boo Bars or something.
And that's
what the fuck are they? I still don't understand them.
And that's why today you don't have children who are that's why you don't have cartoons today that are entertaining, because they're not pandering to both parents and a child. They're pandering to just
exactly.
So that's why.
And that's why you're not going to have that longevity either. But that's why you're not going to have the longevity, because you actually have, like, as a kid, you can watch a cartoon and you can, be entertained. Like, for example, I was saying before about, say, Danger Mouse or, some of the other cartoons, and they were all very tongue-in-cheek. The British ones had a lot of actually quite saucy humor in them, but not for a kid. It was only the adults that got the connotations. But then when you get older, you then appreciate you can then watch it again and say, oh my God, that was actually a little bit naughty. You know, so you get a double hit out of these things. You're not going to get that. That's why none of these things have any longevity. That's why you're not going to see people harping back to the day of, you know, this new She-Ra. They're not going to do that because it's going to be vacuous.
Can I ask you then, Cabbage, your opinion of George Orwell? Those who control the future control the past.
Absolutely.
And you know the saying. And do I really need to ask you? Those who control the future control the past.
Yeah.
And those who control the present control the future.
Yeah.
That's
the
saying.
future. Absolutely. Yeah.
You
No,
know,
I mean,
can
it's
you
exactly
explain
right.
that
I mean,
for me? Can you explain that for everyone that's listening?
Well, yes. I mean, this is how. I mean, it's about controlling the dialectic. You know, the whole. I mean, speech. I mean, the whole point of newspeak. The idea that you can modify the past to create the present, but if you control the present, then you can also control the future. You know, but by controlling the past in the beginning, then you've already created the pathway to what you need. It's effectively like. I mean, it's the ultimate form of propaganda. It's what Joseph Goebbels would have, you know, had wet dreams over.
Yeah, I mean, I agree with that. I agree with that 100%. But can you explain it in a way that everyone else can get it? Because it's like if you base it down,
I mean, if you just got it. Well, I mean, if you just got it, I don't understand what's not to understand. I mean, the quote itself says it all.
I know that, but does everyone else understand that?
It's fairly self-explanatory.
Does everyone else see how it's representative of the governments that are in control of us today? They're controlling
within a modern context.
They're changing history. They're changing history so that we don't, in the future, realise what actually history was.
Yes, but also don't forget that the clever thing that Orwell also intertwined in that was the newspeak. So you actually change the language, you know, the terms that are being utilized, so that a term that was then is not the same now. So not only do you change the way that the information you present, but you also change the way in which the words are meant to be interpreted.
I mean,
so it's actually really clever.
As me, I interpret it as what happened in my past, what happened in my history is being changed by the people in my future. Essentially, it's being changed, and now this word's bad, this is bad, that stuff's bad, so that in the future they can control us without me ever understanding whether I was going. Without me understanding my identity or who I am, wherever I was going, they're just telling me, just look forward. Just look forward.
Yes, but that's but don't you get it, mate? That's the whole point. You're not meant to have an identity, because if you have an identity, that makes you an individual. You're meant to be part of the collective.
Should know about this.
Wait, what are you talking about with the speech thing?
1984. The mind, the mentality that was imposed on Winston Smith. The
best way of controlling people.
Yeah, the methods of control. Which, I mean, it wasn't just that thing. The past and the future. Those who control the past control the present. Those who control the present control the future. But it was also the control of language. I mean, that was a big part of it, because that's in actual fact that's how the book starts, is with him actually burning, like news articles so that they could be, edited, so history can get changed, but then also changing the words. The wording gets changed.
Because in Britain, if you believe back in your past, so if you believe back in your past that it was absolutely true that there were black Romans fighting in the legions, if you believe that, then in your future you're going to go, well, yeah, black, and it's like, well, that never happened. They're changing history in your past. The governmental powers are changing history in your past, so that in the future, when you get up and wake up and go and vote, you believe in the crap they're talking about.
I hope not. I'm getting my history degree, my bachelor's right now.
There's a Black Lancelot now.
That's the difference. Why I listen to you.
How is that? Hold on.
Good. Yeah.
How is that a difference? Because I can understand
you know, it being at the let's say the public school level.
Mr. Frustrated. I don't know. I can only see you over time. Mr. Frustrated. We're talking here today, and you've just been born as a 17, 18-year-old, and you're just a child growing up. And I teach you that in your past, not just in the last 17 years you've lived,
all
but
men were morons. All men were morons.
In your past, yeah, that in the future, you're a dick. Does that make sense?
You can project the present into the future. Wait,
yeah.
You can say it all you like, though.
Yeah, but you don't know. But as a person, you don't know that I'm not wrong and I'm not lying to you, and that's what governments are doing.
Well, the problem is with this analogy that you're using is very, very flawed, because you see, as a child, yes, you can sit there and say you're a dick, you're always been a dick, you will always be a dick to me.
If as a child I taught you, if as a child you grew up and I taught you that there was no genocide of there was no Holocaust. If I taught you that as a child, there was no Holocaust, how would you know that there was, or there was something different?
Well, I would learn it.
How?
This book is teaching
How?
you
Because
to
every
spy.
piece of accurate information that I'm controlling on you will teach you the other way.
Then that's
How
why
would you
I
know?
would go outside of.
No,
the
you
ones
couldn't.
That
you couldn't do that.
No,
you're
there's
like,
no
oh, yes, you
escaping
can.
it.
There's libraries.
No, they won't let you escape.
Because you're talking from a position where you actually have freedom and you're allowed to look outside the box. But I'm saying you're not allowed to look outside the box. You're not allowed to understand this freedom.
Well, not only that. But you're not even. Yeah, but not only that, you're not even motivated to go outside the box because, you know, you're in your family and you trust those people who are, you know, who are educators, which is exactly what goes on in the public schools, which is how you end up with all of these fucking social justice loonies, you know, like invading all of the education systems and teaching kids all kinds of crazy weird shit.
There's the Ministry of Love, the Ministry of Peace, and what's the third one, Cabbage?
Ministry of Information. No, the Ministry of is it Information or is it the no? It's the Ministry.
I thought it was the Department of Energy. The Ministry of Love, the Ministry of Peace, and the Ministry of Thought. Yes, that's the one.
So that's it. Yeah,
okay, then let me put it like this. I grew up in a Christian household. We were Southern Baptists. I was not always an atheist. I grew up Southern Baptist. I believed for the longest time, all the way up into my 20s, that God created everything. Now, as I got to be an adult, as a child, that's all I was taught. That was the only thing, and the only thing I ever looked into was what I was taught. As an adult, I'm able to go out and actually figure it out. As an adult,
exactly. I send out a team and shuts you up, and no one else ever hears about it.
So
you see, but you're thinking of it if there's a position where you don't have that other information being made available to you? What if you're given a single indoctrination, or any violation of that indoctrination is then undermined? And you know, like anyone, like you see it with the news now.
Okay,
that
that's why you
anyone who contravenes the message, you know, the acceptable message, as an alt-right person or whatever, so therefore they get. Sorry, go ahead.
Okay, but then you have things like, so like I said, the government controls the public schooling system. You have private schools.
No.
Not only do you have private schools, but colleges aren't owned by the government. Colleges put out the actual
from your
information.
Position. From your
that's
position.
not from. This is
you
a
believe
fact.
They're doing it, but they're not necessarily doing it for your best benefit.
Okay, so in other words, don't trust the education system. Don't trust anybody because everyone's out to get you.
The education system is just trusting governments.
No, it's not, because like I said, colleges are owned privately. These are not owned by the government.
Okay,
you can go to
so
all these different colleges.
you just indoctrinated yourself in a new cult, and I hope it's a better forward future for you.
What? That's
well, you've
that
just
makes
bought,
absolutely
you've
no
just
sense.
bought yourself. You've just bought yourself into a new school of thinking that has nothing to do with the world as that it is today. And they've said to you, yeah, blue's bad. Blue. No, you've brought yourself into a way of thinking that your education that you're getting is the right education.
I like.
Isn't that a religion? Isn't that Islam?
No,
because you also have to have critical thinking and look at what they're teaching you. And yeah, you want to pass the grade, so you'll probably say whatever the fuck they want to hear.
Means are you going to have critical thinking, or are you just going to do what you're told?
Are you? Look, okay, so if you want to just skim by with all your life, you only do what is necessary to pass. In which case, when you actually go out into the field, you won't know what the fuck you're talking about.
That's not what I'm talking about. What I'm saying is you're not going to write your thesis on a subject you know the professor will totally disagree with you and slam it down.
Yep.
That's not what you're going to do. You're going to find an area that you two agree on, and you're going to write your thesis on that. I'm not saying you be dishonest. I'm saying you're going to do everything and go through everything, but you do have a predetermined bias coming in. And if you critically think through everything and you come to the conclusion that you're still right, then you should stick by that. Especially in what I'm going into in history. I mean, there is far too many people that just go with the flow and say the same stuff that everybody else has said. Far too few that go against the grain and write what they really think.
Can I ask if I landed on this planet from an asteroid and said I was Jesus and you all have to follow me, and I could prove it to you at every stage and at any point and say, I'm Jesus, believe me, to believe.
You did that. I remember. It was in the paper last week.
That's the same thing you're doing.
See, I
any
imagine
other
Maz is
religion.
more like the Great Gadzoo.
But the
whatever it is, but that's
with
the
way that you're
diversity.
saying,
That's the diversity.
What you're saying now, though, is that we can't trust anyone, not even the educators, including in higher education than past high school. So now what you're saying is we can't trust anyone.
You can trust yourself looking out in front of you.
Okay, well then what about with your analogy of history, though? With history, what are you going to look out in front of you? You're not going to see anything except for...
I'm absolutely not interested in it because I've landed on this planet as Jesus and I'm looking at you and saying, you can look into the future and decide for yourself who you want to fucking be as a person.
But that means that we can control the future, Maz.
What has this got to do now with educating a child?
Well, no.
Yes.
We delved off a number of topics, but here's the thing: how do we fix this?
I don't understand how we got from Bagpuss to this. How do you get from Bagpuss?
It's like clicking on a
Wikipedia article. An alien turning up, declaring himself Jesus.
This is a complete my
final point. Okay, let me stop on this, and then you can all do and move on to the next task. My final point is that if, as a person, you're not looking out into the world in front of you and deciding what you think is right and what you think is wrong and how you would react to it, just do that.
Yeah, but in terms of the education, the problem is that it's usually being done. The corruption is being done at a very young age. That's why they're going after cartoons. That's why they're introducing things at a younger and younger age. You know, I mean, this shit's happening in kindergartens now.
And that's why we also have adults who, like, for instance, the educational system. That's why we have adults. Like, I'll take, for instance, I live in Texas. Aaron Raw, including a bunch of other educators, went into Austin, went to the Capitol, wherever they were doing a vote, about trying to pretty much whitewash all of American history to make it seem like America was this great country. They went in there and said, no, you cannot do that. This is not how actual history works. You see, you are under the assumption that just because government can do something
that it's going to be able to do it. I can go up to somebody and shoot them. However, doesn't mean I will be successful because other people can get in the way of me committing what I'm going to do.
Yes, but the thing is that a lot of the the thing is, right, a lot of the educators that came out, they came out of like the 1960s and the 1970s. Those are the people who are entrenched in the universities. They're the ones with tenure. They're the ones with, you know, long-term.
These are high school. These are
contracts in high, but at high school as well. But I mean, yeah, exactly. But you still got the same thing, right? They are coming from quite a while ago. The influence and the impact that these people have had is only really starting to get. I mean, it's been noticed for a while, but it's only started to really piss people off in relatively recent years.
How do we?
You know, because of how ridiculous they're getting. You know, like with all of
how do we fix it?
By
it's going to
having
take time.
people in office that are actually there to not only who not only have a better moral compass than say.
No, I don't think you need morals. I think they should start teaching facts and stop teaching feels. That would be a start, wouldn't it? Start teaching the facts, or presenting.
Could we incentivize it?
Where are you teaching feels in math?
No, with cabbage.
Where do your feelings?
Well, exactly. No, that's the whole point. They're trying to do this shit. They're trying to create this STEMs thing where somehow social sciences gets included in science. I mean, it's fucking nonsense. I mean, that's the whole point.
Are we really talking about social sciences right now?
The world that happened before.
No, we're not. I'm just waiting. It was just a reference. That's all. We're not talking about them. We're just using it as a reference. But no, I mean, they can throw any old shit that they want into the pot. I mean, you shouldn't be able to get emotional about mathematics, but they are saying that. I mean, now they're utilizing what was that thing with just the idea
Common Core.
Well, yeah, Common Core is a significant part of it, but there's they're saying that, oh God, what was it? I've seen a bunch of articles about it that, this idea of that, because boys are better at mathematics, generally speaking, should then become, that's.
I think that
should be
some
special. No, it's not. No, because men have got the same thing with spatial awareness. It's just part of, brain patterns.
Cabbage is not their special power, the ability to make us miss the point. Every time you want to finalize something, every time you want to put a question mark in something, they're just like, do you know what I mean? And then doesn't it come down to us and them? Because there are people that believe the world could be better, and there are people that believe the world is going to keep doing what I want it to do.
Yes, on behalf of and I mean, this is the thing. It's take the ideology out of education. In the same way, say, you say, how can we make it better? The only answer I can give you is like a reformation for education. A reformation for education is get the ideology out of, because there shouldn't be any ideology within education. Education should be just that. Providing the information. Now, people can come to their own conclusions, and they can use critical thinking skills, and they can, demonstrate their awareness and their ability to absorb information and process it, and everything else. Now, that's what education should be. There should be no ideology within education.
Learn.
Education should be information. May I make a suggestion? Oh, there was so many ION words that you said, and there was a few rhymes that you didn't even notice that you made.
I noticed them. They weren't intentional, but they came out anyway.
That was nice. I just wanted to note the wordplay that he just did was really, really good. But I believe that we should change the educational paradigm.
Well, my whole entire idea, if I were able to be in control of this, I would run public schools as if they were like these charter schools, where once you have your child reach a certain grade, like let's just go with 9, and once they get into high school, and you set each and every individual student down, ask them what do they want to be when they grow up.
Discord's being a bitch.
Once they figure out if they can sit there and actually say, oh, I want to do this, then have a curriculum that's designed for that. And then the ones that don't know, have them go for general studies until they actually can figure out. And once they can figure out what they want to do, then plan a course for them. So that way that they are learning the things that are necessary for college for when they get there.
Well, actually, no. I'd say learn the things which are really important to actually getting a job and being functional in society. That's the problem that we have today, is that people are being taught a whole bunch of shit, which is going to be absolutely no use in terms of making an income or a living. You know, you're not going to make a living out of, you know.
Is some of it how we're funding the schools? Oh, sorry.
Like I said, if you are teaching kids, if you ask them what they want to do with the rest of their life, like what is the one job that they want, then they say, for instance, someone says, oh, I want to become a anthropologist. So then you align a course all the way back into high school, or even further back. I don't know, I haven't actually ever thought of that through, but let's just go with high school. Go through high school with a curriculum that is aimed at...
What? So you ask a 3-year-old, what do you want to be? I want to be a fireman.
No, you have to ask a child who is actually able to make these kind of critical things. And before that...
The only thing that child has been asked to do is to learn the system.
No, I'm sorry. At the end of the day, I don't think that you should build a curriculum around a particular individual. At the end of the day, they need that. There are fundamentals that you need to begin with.
Well, you have.
Which are going to be reading, writing, and arithmetic. No. Okay, but you don't have them because if you look at the average.
Okay, so you go into high school without knowing reading, writing, or arithmetic.
I'm telling you now, there are universities now that are having to do remedial classes in order to get these kids up to speed because of how poor it is.
That's because they pass through these kids because they don't want to teach.
Yeah, they just they're going to universities because it makes the kids look good because they get the pass grades, right? Everyone gets a participation certificate, right? So the grades have all been fucking skewed. So they get to university on a false fucking grade, and then they've got to give them remedial classes in order to get them to the point that they should be in order to be able to take.
Well, it's not like we're passing people through.
I mean, this is like or anything to it. It shows you a retardation of what's going on within the schools to begin with. It is. It's a joke.
No, that is a problem. But no, I agree with them. If you actually, a kid is old enough to drive at 16. So sophomore year, they come to you and they go, hey, what is it you actually want to do? Do you want, because, you get the ASVAB sophomore year. The military's already looking to get you.
Mad. I don't want to cut you off.
Wait a minute. No, wait a minute. The military's already trying to get you by sophomore year. So you're able to drive, which you could kill people. You're usually drinking by then. You're already, in the old times, an adult by then and able to even be king. So you're telling me they can't come to you, give you an ASVAB type test and be like, hey, this is what you look like you'll be good at. What do you want to do?
No, I'm simple.
Yeah, Mad Dodge, I agree with you. That's what they used to do. They were called apprenticeships.
I'm coming to you and saying, I want to fly a fucking plane. And you turn around to me and go, but you're not test scoring on that plane. And I turn around and go, oh, my feelings. And you let me fly that fucking plane.
I like planes.
No one's. No, where did feelings ever come into play with what I've said?
22, you're a better person than I am. I don't.
Where did feelings come into anything of what I said?
Well, no, because now we've got it's the feelings in terms of like the what do they call it? Positive discrimination. What do you call it over there? What is the American term? Positive discrimination.
We're constructing a Stay Puft Man.
Generally, I think of fuck them.
Well, no, what's it called over there? When you give somebody preferential treatment because they're part of a particular social group. What do you call it?
Well, it has to start with social.
No, it's sort of God, there's a term for it. You fucking know it, guys. Stop playing dumb.
Well, I'm not playing dumb. I really have no idea what the hell you're talking about.
Yeah, me either.
Okay, what is what term? Sorry, I had music playing in the background.
Right. Well, it's a term that you have, you know, that for somebody.
Discrimination. Hold on. Let him explain what he's wanting to say. Which term? Cabbage.
Would everyone stop white knighting? Fuck's sake. Positive discrimination. That's what we call it over here. You have a particular term over there for it.
Reverse.
No, it's, you know, when you give like a black guy a job because he's, you know, he's black.
You're talking about affirmative.
There you go, affirmative action. Fuck's sake, how did you not manage to get there? Jesus. You see, and we're talking about critical thinking skills.
Well,
I think we're showing a very distinct lacking. Well, I don't give a shit.
Well, I think your description was rather lacking, but anyway.
Well, it wasn't. It was positive discrimination. How could you get any clearer than that? But you call it something else because, you know, you always have to be different. But anyway,
yeah, well,
you know, when you're using these sort of standards, when there aren't any standards, when you're playing fast and loose with standards, then what do you expect out of your education system?
Yeah.
You know, that's the way it's going to go. It's bound to go down the shitter. You know, in the same way that, you know, it doesn't really work out when, I mean, like, who was that woman in London who did the advertising company? It's like, I'm just going to employ women and it's all going to be wonderful. It'll be a fucking nirvana. And then she ended up going bankrupt and, you know, said that she'd never employ women again. So.
Okay.
Well, no. Okay, you're telling
anything,
me.
Though.
Go ahead.
I'm just saying, where was it anywhere in what I said does that apply? You see,
reality.
What I was trying to say was that if you have that that system of it being like a charter school where they make a curriculum around somebody who is going to do a job that they want to do, who are more than apt
like
to
socialism.
be able to do it. How does it sound like socialism?
But it sounds.
No, I'm saying it sounds like ants. You know, like you either get, you know, remember the
we need
cartoon
to be more like
with the
the
ants, and
cabbage.
everyone gets a fucking, you know, allocated what they're going to do. So you either get the helmet on your head, or you get the gun in your hand, or you get the
No, you see, the problem is with that is there's no choice. Here, you have a choice. What do you want to do with your life?
Yes, but the point is, but you could choose something, but you might be totally incompetent or
and then
incapable
what
of doing
happens
it.
is, if you wait and let me finish what I was trying to say to begin with. What happens is, of course, you're always going to have certain individuals who are not able to do the exact thing they want. So what you do then is if they can't do the thing,
kill him.
Like, for instance, I know one guy that I went to high school with was dumber than a box of rocks. However, you put him in front of a car, he could do wonders with it. If you put him in front of a car, he could work wonders. So then what you also do is ask them, what are they good at? So if they are good at, for instance, being a mechanic. Are you genuinely
arguing that people that are put in a situation and have to do what they want aren't controlled by the government?
What? No. No, we're talking about because I'm actually agreeing with them here, and what I'm talking about at least. I'm not going to put.
I get it. Don't get me wrong. I get it, but I'm just saying that from my position, that if the life I grew up in decided that I was going to sit here now tonight and talk to you guys, how much control was that over that?
Again, this is not even someone controlling you. This is you making the decision on what you want to do.
How can I step away from government? If that's the decision,
I would make it all. I would make this all private. I would make this all private, and the parents put you into school, and you work with the parents and the child, and you figure out what's going on. I wouldn't have a public school system, in my opinion. And you guys know.
Wait. My kids.
Not you. I'm not putting words in your mouth. You can go different. You can go whatever. My point of view is you eliminate the Department of Education at the federal level and let the states do it. You can have a state public school system, and you can have a private. You can have all of that. but you don't let the federal government regulate it. First
Well,
off, you let parents make most of the decisions.
It sounds like what Fury's
Why are you cutting me off? How am I saying anything crazy here?
Yeah,
I'm being the
mad
libertarian again.
Higher education system in the state of Germany, because I remember did a video once and they described it.
I have an answer.
I don't think he's being a mad libertarian. I think he's being a genuinely smart person.
I have an answer.
Madodge, right? I mean, yeah. I mean, the thing is, though,
who's
where
not
the
being
curriculum
who's
comes
being a
in.
smart person?
Madodge, Madodge. I mean, the point is, right, that when the curriculum is brought in, and the curriculum is dictated to by whom, and this is when somebody said, well, you know, the government is controlling the education, right?
I just said.
I understand, and I'm confirming it, right? I am confirming it, and I'm going to extend it, because I think if there's an education system where you're looking at, you know, particular skills, and this is exactly what apprenticeships used to be about, where you get that kid who's got the, you know, ridiculous expectations, but they have, you know, a particular skill set, and you find that from them because of the curriculum. And then when you find that they, you know, have a particular, you know, they're adept at a particular thing, or they have a, you know, an interest in something, then you try and draw it out of them. Now that's fine.
That was my second answer. My first answer was I wake up tomorrow and everyone else up in the world wakes up tomorrow with a claw hammer in their hand, goes out into the world and says, I'm just going to smash this fucker in the face. I don't care. When I get bored, when he cuts me up and whatever, and we all just get really fucking violent. And that sounds insane because we all know that we want something better from that. But that
sounds like the plot to The Purge.
No, I don't understand.
No, let's just do it. Let's just do it. Everyone that wakes up after that. Yeah.
These are drunken ramblings now.
No, real quick. I love how I put out actual policy that if I was elected, I would try and push, and everybody just goes into a purge analogy.
I never said anything about a purge analysis. No.
I didn't go into that. I was promoting, you know, having you know, apprenticeships and, you know, identifying ability compared to expectation, because you can have all the expectations you want, but if you don't have the ability, then there's no fucking point wasting your time.
Okay, let's go with this. Let's go with
I always say that.
Mad Dodge obviously is going to stand up and represent his state. Yeah, federal, whatever. I don't know how it works. But I'm going opposite.
I said.
And I'm going to represent. Sorry. I'm going to represent standing up with a hammer, and I'm going to do the opposite. So tell me why that's
thing. What's this?
Yeah, because I want to fuck people. Fuck people.
Does it come with a
fuck
sickle?
People. I'm just saying, fuck people. Oh, Mad Dodge. Now explain to me your better representation of why I shouldn't do that.
Why you shouldn't kill people? Because it violates the other person's human rights. Because it violates their human rights. This sounds weird, but I'll fix this. The non-aggression principle states, pretty much, I can't punch you in the nose unless you punch me in the nose first, and you're not supposed to punch me. So in other words, we both leave each other alone.
Civil.
And that's all I want, is the right to be left alone and raise my children with the curriculum that I believe is best suited to each child, because we are all individuals. I would like this all boiled down more to the individual side, and let's not have a big daddy government pushing Common Core through or No Child Left Behind. Fuck both. And it was season. Yeah, I did that. I just went at both Democrats and Republicans. Fuck off. I don't care.
That's why I did not like Huckabee. Over in Arkansas, whenever fucking BB like was fucking around, that was fucking bullshit. I actually went to a different state just to graduate because it was just stupid.
I went to a different school because I was a rebel.
Yeah,
I think the problem we're seeing here is that America
shoving shit up your ass is not being a rebel.
No. You see, whenever it's influenced by, let's say,
dude in the hills skating
a new football field, but we need computers.
Girls, I'm live streaming.
Here's a server board. Well, okay, but you didn't need that new turf, dude. Like, you already had. Well, no, we needed it. Well, what about the server system that we need?
let me wrap this back around to what you guys were talking about. Let's say I knew a kid who was really good with computers when I was in middle and high school. He was one of my best friends. Really fucking good. Not saying what we no, he wasn't Russian, but I'm not saying what we did, but you know, we did some stuff with dial-up internet that was probably a little nefarious. But it was fun, and he was super good with computers. You know what happened? He graduated high school, went to college.
He got renditioned by MC.
No, and as he's going through college, he fucking hacked something and ended up in prison. So, I mean, seriously, if he would have been in a program to where they actually utilized his computer skills and actually mentored him, gave him some ethics, built it up, he could be Steve Jobs. Instead, he went to prison.
All these people, all these people, all these kids that want to go with their passion, they're forced into a curriculum that's just like, oh well, you're gonna have to learn about all of this other stuff. No, why not? If they're leaning towards what they're wanting, then you should look at that and go, okay, so that's what they're passionate about. Well, guess what? There you go. I mean, for fuck's sake, the Skills USA group that I was a part of, they had one that was good at scrapbooking, and she was the only contestant. So guess what? She actually had a fucking, just based on her ability to scrapbook and bullshit.
Yeah, Vash, that's good. Vash, that's good. If you don't have sort of, the competition things where, you need the kids to be doing the best, right? Now, the thing is that a kid could have a real aptitude for something, but not particularly want to do it, not like it.
It goes down to preference. And Mad Dodge, here's the thing.
Yeah.
Better cut out what we're talking about because MC heard us.
Oh, shit. Hey, MC, didn't see you there.
Come on, MC. You would totally vote for me with that stance on education. You don't like the Department of Education. Come on. Can I count on your vote in 2020?
I don't like the Department of Education, but that doesn't mean I freaking like your stance either.
I believe it should be more of a meritocracy.
You're hurting my feelings. I thought I heard your vote right now.
MC, do you like my stance on this?
I prefer your stance more than anything else. All right, but the one thing that people have to keep in mind.
She's not really standing.
The one thing to keep in mind is the fact that society, to learn from in a social environment, you have to have some kind of discipline. One of the problems that you're seeing right now with the way kids are acting right now is that there's literally no discipline, and they're not. It's not being reinforced. That there's better ways to act, or that you should act in a certain manner just to be polite or civil to one another.
MC, I heard you are suggesting that single women. I heard you're not suggesting that single women, the emancipated, strong woman, is not capable of managing their children. I hope you're not making any insinuation on that.
Off the back of what MC's just said about just being polite to everyone. That is the big thing I think a lot of people are missing. They just can't be polite to people anymore. They're just throwing crap and shade and shit and everyone and shit and bollocks and everything. So off the back of what MC just said, I just want to say to everyone on this stream, you've all been awesome. It's been a wonderful conversation. I don't know when I'm going to cut out, when I'm going to come back in. I just want to give that to you. I just want you all to know that. Right, awesome. Get back into the fight.
Mom, you're way too nice.
No,
and I think everybody's a bunch of assholes.
Little love heart thing on your nose. But yeah, but just if people
I'm
don't
a little
do
bear,
this,
thank you very much. And Sugar Tits said I would make a very nice little Sugar Tits.
And if other people don't come in and spray little stuff around, we will never get to the end of it. We all know what it is. Come on, let's be honest. We all know what it is. It's a fucking Muslim invasion, and we all need to fight back against it. But we're all having to do it through politics to make it straight without dickwads like me being able to say, let's just fucking stab the fuckers in the face. But, whatever world you live in, I appreciate the chat, and you allowed me all in it tonight. Thank you. Carry on. Get violent, Quinn. Get violent. Burn them till
I have a question for MC. MC, are you in the educational line of field? I don't know you, so that's why I'm asking.
No.
No?
No.
Okay, so
what would you like to ask?
He studies physics.
He studies physics.
MC is a clever man.
Oh yeah.
All right, so is he still in the chat?
Don't let him lie to you. MC is an ass that yells a lot.
I can, yes.
Okay, so
Yes,
MC,
he
so you're
I can verify that.
MC's a clever man.
What exactly, as far as the educational system goes, for outside of say universities and whatnot, what exactly would you say is the best course of action in that?
That's a fantastic
Well,
question for the whole
first
panel.
thing you have to do is you can't have it centralized. You have to remove all centralization from the process. And what I mean by centralization is it all has to be done at the local level, which means it's done at the city level or the county level or the little village level or whatever like that.
MC, I don't want to cut you off, but I got to. I did write in the chat. I would put it to state or county level. So we're talking the same thing here, pretty much. Whereas
apart from that, I'm voting for MC now over you, Mad.
To a
because
point,
you cut him off.
Okay, everyone, just me. I'm asking him a line of questions, if you don't mind.
Yeah, carry on.
So go ahead and carry on, MC.
Okay, so you get it to that kind of level. Now it doesn't change the fact that a person can homeschool. Right? If a person decides that they want to homeschool, then it should be perfectly fine. They shouldn't have to jump through hoops. They shouldn't have to justify it to some school board or to some state board or have to get some kind of grand permission to write in and say, I'm sorry, I'm not sending my kid to school.
Right.
Okay.
Go ahead.
Question: does anyone see any problem with not sending their kids to public schools, homeschooling them? Does that make sense?
As long as
I homeschool.
Yeah, exactly.
No.
That's
I
not
have
a
no
thing, is it?
Well, hold on.
Well, it depends on the educational abilities. But it depends on the parents. I mean,
Don't push
fucking
your English
retarded mules.
Okay, now what I was trying to say
No, I'm
was
just pointing out that, if you got some ignorant person, then why would you want that person educating that child?
Yeah,
and if they don't have the skills.
We've all seen the video of the
more than
lady.
one language.
Okay,
Yeah, exactly.
like I was trying.
Like Daddy Fry.
What I was trying to say is there's nothing wrong with children being homeschooled. Now, there is a developmental level that children have to be hitting in as far as what they know of. And they should be going at that. Now, not every child does perform at the same levels as the others. So some do take a little bit more time, and being a one-on-one like a homeschool is perfect for that, because you can then have, say, a set of twins that are not developing
What are you teaching them?
educationally wise at the same rate. So you can then teach one at the rate that he's going at and teach the other at the rate that they are going at.
Who are you to decide what level a kid has to have as a minimum requirement?
I can't believe MC asked that, because I was thinking it, and that's my libertarian screaming. I was thinking it. Thank you, MC.
Okay.
I have two children. One is 9 and one is 5. I teach them both at the exact same level because they both learn at the exact same level. One may be a little bit behind in pronunciation as far as words go, but they both know cursive, they both know sign language, they both know
Why sign language?
Spanish.
Why is that relevant?
Because she determined that it was
a good skill.
Why shouldn't it be relevant to her?
Well, sign language is a good skill if you have any deaf people.
When they were children, or when they were babies, it was easier to teach them sign language. That way they could learn.
Right, okay, I get it.
I'll tell you what.
Okay.
But that's
change
fine.
this.
But what I'm saying is are you going to give, say, a 4-year-old a trigonometry book?
Then can we change
Actually,
this
yes,
in a
I have
slightly different way?
algebra, trigonometry,
In
pre-algebra, calculus. I have all kinds of books right now.
In the way I'm thinking of it is we can all see our avatars on the screen, and on the far left for me is cabbage. Is that true for everyone?
Yep. Well, far right for me, but yeah.
Yeah, okay, right. So, in some way or fashion, I think Mad, as the controller of this stream, should individually ask us our own education without revealing stuff about yourself. Yeah, no, I think Matt should say, well, if we're going to judge people as educated and what they are and what they're not, shouldn't we all know about something about each other individually?
No, I don't think it's. I mean, we can still have opinions. Doesn't matter what. Otherwise, it then just becomes what, a way of being divisive. You're just contributing thoughts now. Now you're wanting to.
But now you're going off of.
Why should I believe in something that someone else has said?
Well, the problem is what you're trying to, and I'm not going to accuse you of actually doing it.
No, do it.
But this is what, well, listen, what it almost sounds like you're trying to say is, let's figure out where everyone's education level is, so that way we can know who is a voice of authority over everything that's about to be said.
Well, to a certain point.
Not a good idea.
But that's the problem, is now you're doing an argument from authority, which is
no,
a logical
to a
fallacy.
certain point. Let's figure out where everyone else's education is before we start.
Okay.
Put it this way, my education is smart enough not to fall for that, so that's good enough.
Well, then, for instance, like you then rule out people who learn things outside of school, because, for instance, you have Samuel Clemens who said,
sorry, I'm going to have to stop you there, because the exact opposite of what I'm trying to ask as a question is that is the person that I am. I'm exactly the opposite of your education, and I won't add something to a particular situation if I can't understand your situation.
What do you mean by your education is the exact opposite of mine?
You are never going to have a situation. You've never been an American living in, I don't know where you are, but I'm presuming it's nowhere like, exactly. You're American and wherever you are, and so it's not like living in Nottingham or wherever you live. There's no way of doing a comparative study.
Well, what my question with this is why are you guys assuming the worst about what he's thinking?
It's a good point.
Evidence.
I wasn't assuming anything. I was saying that it sounded like it.
Humans are humans.
And what I was saying was, I was just saying that it sounded like that, and then he said, in a way, it is.
I just think in some ways that I was just trying to best say to you guys or girls and everyone that's here that I'm just trying to learn and understand from you, but I've not been in the best position to be able to be educated, to be able to learn and understand the way that you clever people have done.
Maz, you are absolutely adorable.
I know that. Don't get me wrong. I know that. But isn't that a lesson for everyone?
No, but Maz, come on, you know it, right? In England, people are fucking freaky. They're one of the smartest people I ever knew. Right? One of the smartest people I ever knew was
born in England.
Guy.
Fuck everyone else.
No, seriously, Maz. A mate of mine was. Yes. He was a coach driver. He was one of the smartest people I ever met. Everywhere he went, and the reason he was a coach driver was because he really loved reading.
Lesson that intelligence and intellect and common sense, they're two different things. We all understand that. We all know it.
Yeah, exactly. So the whole point about where where you got educated, which is what I'm saying. That your initial question
the humblest
was a kind of false one. Yeah, of course. That's why you'd say that you are the most
Intelligence is knowing a tomato is a fruit. Wisdom is knowing not to put a tomato in a fruit salad.
Apart from that,
but seriously, I mean, this idea that but it was more the point that you wanted to identify our so-called education level, and sort of deconstruct everybody into categories or whatever. I'm sorry, but this pigeonhole people, it just doesn't appeal. Yeah, it is. It's fucking definitely bad. That's exactly how you end up with these. Yeah, I mean, this is the problems that we have now. It's everything that social justice and everything else wants to turn everyone into a fucking pigeonhole.
Who's the winner?
Yeah.
Cabbage, who's the winner?
Me.
Everybody's a winner.
Which winner?
No.
About what?
No. Who's the
I
winner?
don't know.
If I'm doing
winning
that,
what? I don't know.
If I'm doing that and changing everything into a certain shape, frame, mind, who's the winner, Cabbage?
Can we get ice
No,
cream?
you tried. No, I'm saying you tried, but this is the whole point. This is why I said that I'm not buying into it. I'm not buying into it.
Everyone
Because
else.
I'm not going to have, why would you want to know everyone's individual fucking education and things like that either? So I guess you're the loser.
Well, no,
I don't know that that makes me the winner, but I guess Harry or something.
Cabbage, just a second. The reason I thought it was actually a valid point was probably something he wasn't even thinking of. But the question was asked, who should be homeschooling these kids? And I think you asked it, Cabbage, when you said if somebody wasn't smart enough to teach, then why should they be teaching the kids? Somebody else should be. Well, then your education level would matter in arguing that point, wouldn't it? Because where is the level? Where is the level you want to put it? I mean, come on.
But Madodge, no, come on, but literacy, like I said, I mean, especially the basics, reading, writing, and arithmetic, they're fine. I mean, there's no way that you're going to set up in your fucking house an entire, laboratory so that your kids can do chemistry experiments, right? There is no way you can teach chemistry to your kids.
That's bullshit. Why not? I can go on Amazon right now and get a chemistry kit. Yep, right now.
I'm sure you could. And the thing is, you probably end up getting your house broken into because they think it's a fucking meth, production unit.
Oh, broken into.
You've got round bottom flasks being fucking delivered to your home. You know what I mean?
Yeah, broken into by the police is what you're saying.
I'm just saying, you don't have the space or the ability to do it anyway. I don't think you're particularly, do you know what a Liebig condenser is?
I'm not saying I'm going to sit here and teach chemistry.
Do you know what a Liebig condenser is?
No, I don't. My kids go to a charter school.
So,
I'm not homeschooling. I'm just saying. The fact is, parents can do this, and why shouldn't they be allowed to? And where are you going to put?
Oh no, I think they should be able to. Absolutely.
And I will divulge my college or my education level. I got my GED. I've been to college now my third time. The first two times there were situations I couldn't finish. I went to flight school, and I was doing pretty good until I had to drop out because of family issues. I've also been to business school, and now I'm studying for my bachelor's in history. So, yeah, family issue. Like I'm a single parent, and I was falling asleep, missed my bus stop, and almost didn't meet up to pick up my kid from daycare. Yeah,
I did that once.
Yeah,
I ended up about 100 miles away from where I should be on the train.
Okay, see, you can understand. I couldn't do it. But now I'm in a position where I can, and I'm back in school. That's my college level. There you go.
I could just picture a Cabbage.
I probably should be on the train.
Seriously, I just passed out. It's like I was so fucking tired, and it's like, and I asked the guy to wake me up, and the thing was, the fucker got off before it was my stop, and he didn't even wake me up to let me know he was going.
What a prick! What a prick!
Oh my god!
But no, I'm not afraid to divulge that because the GED is not the diploma from high school, but the scores I got on my GED are probably better than most of the people who got their diploma. So I'm good with it. I'm happy with that.
Yeah, and the thing is, there are a lot of people too who are, autodidactic. They are very. I mean, I like to teach myself stuff. A lot of things I know, it wasn't because of college or whatever. I mean, a lot of people as well. They, once they leave school, they think that that's the end of education. They don't have that love of education, that love of learning. And I've always had that.
I've always considered myself self-educated because it's like, when did you become adept at this? Last night. I
I'm
study
online.
things
I'm
on.
online
I like to
every
study
day, and
things
every
on an
time
obsessive
Cabbage
level.
says something, he changes.
One has to remember that a lot of the very first people who were in these fields that we are studying in didn't have a school that exactly taught this. They figured shit out on their own and then taught somebody who was interested in learning what they were learning, and so on and so forth.
Correct. We'll come on here.
Oh yeah, you can take that back to, and again, but again, that goes back to the day. I mean, I used to have apprenticeships, where people would be adopted and they'd go on and, like Marty McFly, tell you some kind of reference. But I mean, people used. I mean, hello.
Hello.
Well, you were breaking up a little bit, but you're still there.
Okay. But yeah, I mean, apprenticeships are the things which I think have been so. I mean, that's where the real, because that's why you end up with everyone as a burger flipper. I mean, that you have to learn an actual skill, something which is applicable or at least viable.
Okay. Yes, but in
the real world.
Is it a natural skill, or is it just managing to live in day-to-day life, talking to people?
Well, there's that. I mean, that's a skill. That's salesmanship. Go ahead.
Yeah, exactly. There you go.
But again, like I said, if you go back all the way to the beginning, these people didn't have. They may have not have just had a trade. They just had a love for the field, and what they did was, after the people learned what they were doing, then these other people came behind them, says, "Wow, I'm fascinated by that. I want to learn." Anybody can be taught anything as long as you teach them at the level that they understand at.
Yeah, exactly. Which means that if they don't have a capacity, a particular mindset, you can't teach anyone anything, because I've never really been into chemistry and things. I mean, you could tell me all about chemistry all you want, and I can read the books and I can understand molars and atomic weights and things like that. But in terms of actual application or my motivation to utilize it, no, you can't create that.
This is
That's
an
why
argument.
I said,
This is an argument. Okay, go ahead.
But that's why I said that these people who have an interest in it, I didn't say you personally had an interest in it. I said if you have someone who has an interest in it, but may not be able to understand it at the same level as somebody who is incredibly smart, then you can still break it down to them in a way that they can understand it. You can learn chemistry, but because you're not interested, that means you're not going to retain it all too well. You're going to retain the knowledge of the things that you are interested in. Say, for instance, say you are interested in, which I don't know you, so I'm just going to pull a random thing and go with cars. Say you're very interested in cars. Say you love them. You love everything about them. Well, you're going to
Maxi every
retain.
night.
Huh?
Nothing. Never mind. It's a bad joke.
So you're going to learn. If someone was like, "Oh, well, do you want to learn? You want to learn how to fix this?" You're going to be like, "Oh, hell yeah!" Because then I can do this on my own. Mm-hmm. So you have an interest in learning how to fix the car. So you're going to retain it a lot better than if someone says, "Hey, you want to come learn chemistry?"
Exactly, and that's what I'm saying about apprenticeships. You find, what people are interested in, and then you try and nurture that interest, right? That's when you get something which is going to be productive. And that person, but then, you can throw any kid, lazy fucking children. I mean, you got a bunch of teenagers who don't really want to do anything, want everything for nothing.
Of course.
And, whatever. And you say, hey, do you want to actually learn how to, are you going to have to use your brain and learn how lasers operate, or, you know, subatomic particles and things, or do you want to go off and, you know, play dress up in drama? I guess which ones they're going to go for.
And what you have
because you've got to work on the mindset of the children, you know.
Yeah,
You're teaching children as if they're adults, like they're actually working with, you know, like an understanding of what that, you know, what is to become of their lives or something. And we're not talking about that.
But nobody said you had to stay in that when you have a general education, you know, from a regular high school.
Yeah, but I'm saying that
a bunch of different fields. But when it's
but Matt, what I'm saying is, mate. Yeah, but Matt, what I'm saying is, when people are making these decisions, I mean, you got to look at the people who are making those decisions. You know, you got a bunch of effectively, you know, feckless teenagers who just, you know, want to go off and, you know, get blown by their girlfriend or something. I mean, so they don't really have the motivations, right? Yeah, but
why should we allow them to drive?
But the motivations come usually from the educators, right? Because if you've got a really good teacher or something, then you really you get involved in something. It's like,
that's true, and that would still be true, and that would motivate their decision in what field they
precisely. That's what I'm saying.
I want to wrap
but
this
it's not going to come from somebody trying to create a formula for which kids are going to go into which particular.
What
field.
if we use
Nobody's creating a formula?
Well, I don't know. I thought this is the idea was that, you know, kids can do anything that they want. In actual fact, well, they can do anything they want, but they can do it badly. Yeah, I mean that doesn't affect. You know, I mean, the idea that, you know, that we're meant to allow people to do shit badly and pay them the same amount as somebody who does something good,
but
then I don't buy it. I'm sorry.
Again,
bullshit.
Well,
that's equal opportunity of outcome.
Listen, if you are telling if you ask a child what they want to do, and they say, "I want to become this,"
I want to be a fireman,
then you will sit there, and if you have a curriculum that is going to teach them the ability, you're not trying to tell them the very second that they say, "I want to do this." Oh, well, here you go. Like, for instance, your analogy earlier, or your example earlier of a kid wanting to fly a helicopter. If you have a child who wants to fly a helicopter, you're not going to sit there and say, "Oh, well, okay, here's a helicopter, fly it." You teach them everything they need to know about it, and the fact that they are interested in this, they're going to retain the knowledge better. So then they will.
That's true. But they could be the most but they may be the most incompetent pilots that you could find. Now they may still know everything about the helicopter. Then they would make good engineers.
Then they become engineers. There's your point.
That's what I'm saying. Well,
I mean, nobody said it's not a ticket. It's not Futurama where you're a fucking delivery boy. That's not what we're talking about. Captain.
No, because I mean I know that, Matt. But excuse me, I was the one who said about fucking apprenticeships, right? Which is where you actually find the interest that the person has, as opposed. No, it was the original. No, mate, no, Mad Dodge. I will explain to you why I'm not saying what you think I'm saying, is because that was not what the premise was at the beginning. And that's the reason I said about apprenticeships. This idea that you can educate a kid to be really good at anything, right? Which is bullshit. Because a kid who's not interested in something.
Okay, I've got something to say.
So this idea that you can just allocate kids to a particular thing because, hey, you know, they'll get interested in it, and you can educate a kid to do anything.
Okay, here, hold on. Okay, so you have a math teacher. Are you saying that our math teachers are people who don't know anything about math?
I'm not saying that at all.
Okay.
Nothing I just said indicated that whatsoever. Why would you think that?
Calm down. Because I'm trying to get this point across to you.
Because it's totally irrelevant to anything that I just said. Why would you ask that?
Because it's about what I'm about to say. So, apprenticeship is you learning from someone who has been in the field. So, you're not going to go to a physics class and be taught by someone who knows history. You're going to be taught by a physician. This is literally a apprentice and master thing.
A physics class and be taught by someone who knows history. Just
wait a minute. You're telling me you tell me I can't teach history after I get my
degree? I would go through a physics class and be taught by someone who
I swear to God. I was joking, but The joke
Dying
messed up.
out.
Yeah, sorry.
No, the joke was good, mate, because it exactly put a fucking block of wood in, in that cog. Because it's nonsense.
Hard.
This idea, nothing that I said had anything to do with what you're now retorting with. There is absolutely
You
nothing
said
in it that you're
apprenticeship.
saying. No, I said, no, what I said is that what the original claim was, which was total bollocks, is that, oh, any kid can do anything if you just educate them in a way. And no, he did. And you can go back and you can listen to the stream, all right? So don't fucking, I mean, you can contradict me now, and I tell you what.
to be the 100-meter world champion.
Go back and you check it, mate. He said that any kid can be anything, like based on the education, right? So if you can just teach them this, and they will, but they won't be interested in it, which is why I brought up the apprenticeship thing. I said there are people who might be adept at things as well. No, I said there are certain people. Yeah, and there are people who might be adept at things who actually don't like doing it.
You can make
right. You can find somebody who's who's really interested in electronics, but he actually likes, he's interested in agriculture. So he ends up going off and being a farmer, right? But he's adept at being an electronics engineer, but he actually likes doing farming.
Couldn't we
right? Now, wouldn't it be better that you would, but the thing is, no, under a socialist system, it's like, well, we've got to utilize him in the most effective way, right? He might be a relatively incompetent farmer, but, he can still survive and everything, and he can do his thing. But no, the socialist system is like, well, now
who said it? Now you're pulling a full non sequitur.
I don't know.
No one has ever said anything about socialism.
Well, no, they haven't. But I'm just saying that this is what you're kind of promoting, whether you recognize it or not. Because, a kid can be. I said about the idea of apprenticeships, so that people who like to do things can actually get an opportunity to do them, and especially if they're in, something that's useful. I mean, as opposed to social studies or, gender fucking reassignment or whatever the fuck it is.
Cabbage, are you an AI?
I am not an AI, I'm afraid. No. If I was, I wouldn't be talking to the likes of you, would I?
What he's arguing?
I would be dealing with. I would be dealing with much higher,
cabbage,
much higher IQ.
Cabbage.
What he's arguing is that tomorrow you're going to wake up in the morning and get out of your bed, and you're going to decide what you want to do for yourself for the day. I might say, I'm going to walk in the woods. I'm going to walk in the park. But
really, look at you! I'm actually going to sit at my computer.
You can never change the construct of who you are as a person. From the day you're born, Cabbage is a computer, and he's not going to wake up tomorrow, and he's not going to wake up and walk out in the woods. He's going to wake up and look on his computer, and that's just who he is. There's your gender identity politics. If Cabbage can be just who he is, aren't you supposed to be fine for that?
I have no idea what the hell you were just talking about.
I'm just saying, when you wake up tomorrow and you think you can be someone else, there's probably a construct in the back of your mind that says, oh, I've got to go to work and I've got to do this, but I'm going to have to do my 2 miles first. Go and sit in the fucking park instead. That's how you break the chain.
I never said any of that kind of...
Go break the chain.
Like that at all.
Everyone, wake up in the morning, go and sit in the park and look at the sun and go, well, that's a weird thing. Whatever you take from it.
I like parks.
You're all being structurally controlled to do something that you think you shouldn't be doing.
Dude, are you okay? I'll take the fucking. Is it the red pill? Yeah. Okay.
No, go for it, man. Go for it.
No.
Explain.
God damn. Where did we go into like a Matrix talk? I'm so confused. Maybe I'm just stuck. But anyway.
Matt, Dodge, as a stream leader, when you wake up tomorrow, what do you want to do?
Oh, I gotta do some schoolwork and shit, man.
Well, okay. No, that's not the question.
I want to go conquer Mars. I want to go set up a colony on Mars and build fucking spaceships. Quinn, you down? Let's do this shit.
Yeah. Though you achieve that on planet, mate, you want to be going to Titan if you're going to do that sort of shit. Just so you know.
Well, maybe we should. Maybe the moon. The moon might be better.
Okay.
Jensen,
okay.
are your
So
swords,
getting back to
are
the
your swords
question.
sharp enough?
Getting back to
Because
the
if we're going to be
question.
fighting all those
Mad.
colossuses.
Bad Dodge. Getting back to the question. When you wake up tomorrow, what do you want to do?
40 years after the invention of the
Dude, I didn't know we were doing a thought experiment right now. It's probably not the best time, but what do I?
It's serious. Okay, I'm going to stop
what
on the
do
end
I
of
want
this
to-
question. Is it a thought experiment, or is it you just waking up tomorrow and doing what you want to do? Okay, carry on.
Do what thou wilt shall be the whole of the law.
What you wake up in the morning, you roll out of bed, you get your coffee, and you look at the world. What do you want to do? And you can't answer that question.
Really? No, really. I just quoted Crowley and nobody said a fucking word. What's wrong with you people?
Sorry, mate. I didn't hear it, mate. I didn't hear it.
Because
I
no one
missed
gets
it. Yeah, unfortunately, Hangouts is being an absolute bitch in Firefox.
Well, okay, all right. Now, we were talking about the education system. What I'm talking about, Cabbage. Okay, let's finish this up. We've gone over 2 hours now, so I want to wrap her up. What I am talking about is not you get a ticket and you have to do this. I'm talking about a individualized education system to where if at the very least you're in a very small class with a teacher who fucking gives a shit and they teach the facts like you said, I agree. No matter how dirty and gritty the facts are,
Absolutely.
you teach them exactly how they are. And you have your general education thing, all right? But you know how you have electives
Well, like you said,
in high school?
the point I made though. Yeah,
Wait a
but
minute,
Maddox,
no.
the thing I was saying
Wait,
there
let me
is-
finish,
no,
let
no.
me
The thing
finish.
is, no. I just want to clarify that point because you were quite, you were saying what I was saying, but I'm saying that you take the ideology out of the education. That it should be about just the, the facts of the presentation. It should not be about interpretation.
That's why I quoted that. I know, that's why I quoted it.
I'm just clarifying.
I know, that's why I quoted it. But what you do is when you get to 16, all right, they're already giving you the power to drive a car, which is a 3,000-pound killing machine. And you're allowed to drive it. You have the right. You have the right to take fucking electives in high school. How about when they do the ASVAB for the military here in the United States? Because that's a generalized test that tells you what you're fucking good at and what you're not. How about they make that program into civil society a little bit and do a test and see what you're good at and see, hey, do you want to be this? Do you want to be that? You actually think about it. You go through, a little bit, and then you decide, hey, I really do like the idea of being a fucking pilot. That would be fucking cool. And then they kind of steer your math level to where it needs to be. And they steer this and that. But you still get the history. You still get the science. You're not a dummy. You're not a one-track pony. You're or one-trick pony.
Isn't the
I'm pretty sure.
Individualize it, sir. Not make it socialist. It's the opposite of socialism. And that's what got me round up here and why I keep talking and won't let you guys cut me off this time.
Yeah, but the thing is, Mad Dodge.
Yeah,
but the thing is, Mad Dodge, who is going? Yeah, but the thing is, Mad Dodge, who is going to do that on your behalf? And that's the problem. Is these people who are? I mean, even when they go to university,
make it local. I told you how to do it already.
Well, I mean, okay.
You eliminate the Department of Education. You make it down to the states. And at that point, you fight for it to be on the county level. At that point, you go city by city if you want. You handle it locally. And you individualize your fucking schooling for your children.
But that's
you
the whole
use
point,
Khan
right?
Academy.
Okay, look.
Dude.
Mad Dodge, look.
Come on.
Ideology, look. Yes, but listen to me. When you need teachers who are qualified, technically qualified teachers, they're all these fucking social justice people, right? So you want a teacher, anyone who's qualified as a teacher, who are you going to employ? You have to employ these people because they're technically teachers, right? Unless you're willing to throw them all out and say, anyone can now be a teacher. And if we like you, and then you're going to have some kind of, new technique for creating teachers. You see, this is where the problem has come in. Because that's where the ideology.
Where are you getting?
I'm not saying all teachers. No, you see, no, fuck your all teachers things. All right, that's kind of like Channel 4 horse.
You just said that you're getting all these teachers, and all of them are SJWs.
No, I didn't say all were SJWs. I said you got these
You're making the
SJW
assumption.
ones, right? Yeah, but you do have a lot of SJW ones. But what I'm saying is that if you've got all of the people who are actually qualified, technically, who are the teachers? So who are you going to employ in order to educate?
The one,
right? Because you're still going to have to source from the available resource, right? And if I mean, okay, if you say that you can throw out all of the federal government, and so now you can employ anyone as a teacher. Well, then you still got to have some kind of criterion as to how they're going to get tested for their ability. I mean, like I said, take out the fucking. I mean, if only the teaching regimes would remove the ideologies, then they wouldn't have a problem. So, I mean, yeah. So you find somebody who's ideological, but then they've got to get some kind of qualification.
But Cabbage,
in order to do
the
the job,
node
right?
we're arguing about, nobody's actually disagreeing that we should teach the truth.
No one is.
Well, who would? I mean, that'd be a stupid argument if you tried. I'm not saying that you shouldn't teach the truth. I'm saying
Cabbage, you are over here.
No, I haven't.
Cabbage.
Bullshit.
Your argument that you just now were creating was as if we were saying that we shouldn't.
No, it wasn't. No, I was saying if it was done. If it was done, what would you do, right? Because now you actually need to you still need to populate the schools, right? I mean, if you're still recognizing that you need some schools, because that's where you can actually have the chemistry labs and biology labs and things like that. You can cut up frogs and whatever. You need the facilities in order to do these things.
Couldn't we just have computers teach the kids?
No, you can't. Okay, sorry, memes. We don't have.
Wait a second, Cabbage is a computer. He wants to help jobs for his folks. I can understand that. It's in his self-interest.
I'm actually, if that's the case, it's against my interest. It's actually about engaging the kids and, being part of something as opposed to being some ideological fucking drone, right? I mean, it's like, I don't understand why this is complicated. No, this is why I don't understand why it's complicated. I mean, Jesus, Pink Floyd did it with, the education, we don't need no education video. And they've been stamped out like fucking machines and things like that. That's exactly what we have now. I mean, the idea that people don't want to go, and try and make people who are, actual individuals, but of course you can't be because that's the whole point, right? You want to be a collective.
No, I don't.
And that's why, that's apparently the political direction that's going at the moment is the collective. Frightening.
Well, I guess, but there is a big libertarian pushback. But any last thoughts, you guys? I kind of want to wrap it up. It's kind of hot out, and I kind of want to take the headphones off. So,
yeah, no, actually, about the collective, is Twitter incentivizing that?
Of course it is.
Oh, there you go. Thank you, memes. Fucking hell. Yeah, nice job. Go ahead, Kevin.
Yeah, but I mean Facebook as well. I mean any group. I mean you could also include Gab in that too. I mean they're all collectives, minds. It's all collectivism.
And being in a collection of things is wrong.
No, but having a stymied singular perspective is definitely dangerous. Well, we've seen that on many occasions throughout history.
What do you mean by a singular perspective?
Well, communism. Yeah, communism, Nazism. I mean, you could look at any of them. I mean, any ism is a bad thing.
Yes, but what I'm saying is, are you? And because I'm getting a little confused here with the Twitter thing now, what are you saying? And correct me if I'm wrong. I'm not trying to say that you are saying it. What I'm saying is that I'm not interpreting it right, but are you saying that Twitter, Facebook, and all that is creating these like social type of things like communism and Nazism?
No, it's not creating them. I mean, no, it's just it's providing people with echo chambers and places where they become they become emulsified.
Okay.
In a particular perspective,
Well, and I can understand. I definitely can understand that and agree with that. But the biggest problem is that that's kind of what happens with social creatures. You have these people that group around like-minded individuals. So you will have a group of people who think this way, a group of people who think that way, all collecting together, and they will always, regardless of social media, will always have this surround themselves with the people who are like-minded. So
yeah, that's true. But in the old days, it used to be sort of Catholics versus Protestants or something like that. These were like esoteric issues.
Yeah.
But
you still.
Whereas now it's people will do it on the most immaterial and insignificant issues.
Well, that comes with luxury.
Well, of course it does. Yes, I mean, these are very Western problems. There's no doubt about that, which is why it's so fucking stupid that most of these people are bitching about anything. They should be damn grateful. They should be going on about their lives and just trying to make the most of what they've got. But they don't, because they've got to have something to fucking moan about. Because they're spoiled little brats and they're waiting for their parents to die so they can inherit their home.
I don't know if we're on the same understanding of what I mean by luxury. You see, take for instance, if you go through the evolutionary chain, nomads only worried about their day-to-day. So then when we became when we actually started
I understand
being
the trend.
Neolithic,
I understand it.
That's when you get questions like, who are we? What are we doing? Why are we here? Type of things. And that's a luxury question. So as time gets on, the luxury itself changes and not necessarily about being what's the word I'm trying to look for? Not necessarily being in a way wealthy of sorts, but more along the lines of, like, for instance, since I can only
capable of survival.
Yes.
Capable of survival. That's really the fundamental, isn't it?
Yes, and now, like here in America, we do have a level of luxury as far as we have, in some situations, more than what we need. Now, we do still have people who are still worried about their day-to-day. You're always going to have that.
Of
course. But you have these luxury things, and so whenever you have people who actually don't have to worry about the day-to-day, the luxury questions change from back in the day of who are we, why are we here, to nowadays of did you see Becky and the top she was wearing? Oh my God.
Well, exactly. Like you see, that's the difference. Yeah, but that's the difference between, technically luxury, like having a refrigerator. You remember they tried to make that a big deal? That every American is, has luxury because they've got a microwave and they have a refrigerator.
Yeah, they do that all throughout.
That came out, right? So that
every technological,
they had a TV.
Oh, look at you! You have a TV, and then all of a sudden, color TV. And it's like, oh, look at them! They have a color TV.
That's right. Yeah, so you are not suffering in any way, shape, or form. But the fact they couldn't feed themselves is a totally different issue. I mean, there are way different interpretations of that stuff. But yeah, but this is the whole point. It's the escalation. And when you look at the people who are now getting to the point where they're worried about Becky's fucking T-shirt, that's the point at which, I mean, they've clearly lost any kind of reconciliation with what civilization is meant to mean. I mean, this is just it's frivolous. It's frivolous.
Of course it is.
I mean, that's hedonism.
But then at the same time, there were points where even things like oh, I have a refrigerator was a frivolous thing, and there was times whenever
no, at that time, no, it wasn't. No, it wasn't a frivolous thing. That was a case of shit. People knew that you'd spent a crap load of money. And especially if it was a Jones factor. It was like, my God, that guy basically just dumped a crap load of his income on that investment.
Yeah, but then
it wasn't a small thing.
No,
I mean, it was for the multi-millionaires or something. I mean, it would have been if it was a Vanderbilt or a Rockefeller or something, but it was, if an average guy in a suburb in Detroit and bought himself refrigerator. That was a big thing. I mean, people would come around and look at it.
Yes, but now, but then you have a little bit further on down the road when refrigerators got better, that somebody would then be like, "Oh, look at that refrigerator they had. That's so outdated."
Exactly. That's the Jones factor. Yeah, but that was a consumer society. That's exactly how the consumer society got started, is that you have to compete with your neighbor. That's the same thing with the cars, That's why they kept changing car bodies every, 18 months or something. So that everyone had to keep changing their vehicles. It was consumer society. That was a consumer revolution. It didn't matter. I mean, it could be the same fridge. It just has a different shell on it, and they still sell it. And but this is a new one, so it's cool.
Right. And so then, but like I was saying, that that even so, at one point in time, to someone, the refrigerator, the very first refrigerator, was one of those that was still a frivolous thing to the rest of society. So, like for instance, you'll have the poor guy who just got a refrigerator. He just got one. Well, they're already on the third or fourth generations of refrigerators. And so now you have somebody who's like, "Oh my God, do you see that guy's refrigerator? It's like so small and so loud. Look at ours are so much better."
Yeah, exactly. So but it's a status symbol there.
Yeah.
Right. Then you're looking at status symbol as opposed to consumer. I mean, but the consumerism is driven by the perceived status of your property, right? Your identity is tied to your property.
Yeah,
I like the one.
Not your personality. It's down to what kind of car you got in your driveway. I mean, that's very much the sort of 50s mindset.
Yeah, but what I was getting at was the fact that because you said that the refrigerator wasn't a frivolous thing, when at one point in time it was. It is still.
No, it was never frivolous. No, it wasn't frivolous. The first ones were actually the things that you would invite people to come and see, Yeah. And the original ones, you actually had to put ice in and you have to blow air over them or something. I don't know. There was some kind of weird shit.
But then, like I said, you can have 5-10 years down the line, whenever refrigerators have gotten better, where at that point in time, the very first refrigerator was frivolous. So that was just kind of it's an old refrigerator. Okay.
Well, I would say that I would agree with you if somebody was, in Alaska, that would be a frivolous, but I mean, anywhere else. I mean, anywhere else in America, I mean, you do need, refrigerator. You don't need one in Alaska.
No. We definitely do need refrigerators here, and especially being in Texas.
Not really frivolous.
Well, with anything cold, really, it allowed us to go from curing meat with salt and whatnot to actually being able to house it.
But what I'm saying is I don't see that a fridge would ever be seen as a frivolous purchase unless it was in somewhere like Alaska or, northern Canada or somewhere, you know what I mean? Somewhere where it really would be unnecessary, where you could just put the milk in that would freeze when you put it outside the door. I don't understand why it would be frivolous in America at all.
Well, of course, that's when you have to go off of the people who are a little bit more wealthier. To them, it is. So, for instance, if you have someone who is, it is a necessity.
Oh, no, okay, no, so it's a luxury. Okay, no, you're not frivolous. You're meaning luxury. Okay, so it is a luxury item. Which, of course, it always would be. I mean, anything produced is going to be a luxury item. Oh, yeah, that, but not frivolous.
Okay, anyway, yep. I think it's about that time. Quinn, you've been silent for a while. What's your last thoughts?
To be honest, it's been a very interesting conversation, especially seeing as we've gone from Twitter as an evil to education to whatever the hell it was in the middle. It was an interesting stream.
Yeah, and on that note, please like and subscribe. I have a Patreon. You can check that out. Memes, do you have any last thoughts? And then once more, Cabby, because it sounds like you have something else you want to say real quick. I'll let you go again, but I'm gonna end it, man. It's 100 degrees. I'm hot as hell. It's time to wrap it up, bro. So
it was
go
a
ahead,
one-eyed, one-horn, flying purple people eater.
All right. Well, I don't know how you're gonna follow that one up, Cabbage.
Well, you don't know the reference. That was the Little Shop of Horrors, wasn't it?
No, that was the purple people
No, it was
eater song.
there was a little bit. Yeah, sorry, it's the same. Yeah, but wasn't it used in the Little Shop of Horrors?
No, and I've seen that movie a lot, and no, it wasn't. No.
It wasn't. Right. Okay. So I thought it was in there somewhere. I don't know.
So you're
why.
gonna end on a loss. Oh, you're ended it on a loss. Swing and a miss.
Yeah, no, that's fine. I don't mind that.
Frustrated atheist.
Shame.
Frustrated atheist. I think this is the first time you've ever been here. Thank you very much. You're welcome anytime. Do you use Discord? Would you like the link?
I do not, only because I have no space on my tablet or my phone.
Fair enough.
You don't need to, mate. No.
You have a channel,
use it
right?
straight through your browser, mate. You can use it through your browser. You don't need to install the app. You can use it through, although it does suck. But you can use it through browser.
I'll have to try to look into that. I've just been busy with doing my videos and whatnot. So
send in the link and just click the link and it'll come up in the browser.
Oh, that's what Yep, that's what I want you to shout out is your channel, and please put it in the side chat, and I'll put your channel link in the description. So.
All right. Well, I'm Frustrated Atheist. My channel is, well, Frustrated Atheist, and I pretty much do a lot of different things. A lot of debunking of Christian nonsense, and I do.
Do you maim animals?
Do I name animals?
Do you maim them?
Oh, maim them? No.
You know.
Yeah, in no way, shape, or form do I maim animals. I do not, and I probably. I say probably will not, but you know, you never know. But anyways, so I also have different series. I have one series that's about creationist problems with the fossil record, where I take a look at a lot of different fossil claims, both hoaxes and non. And as soon as I do a bunch of other different videos,
I'd love to speak to you about that one and the giants. The claims of those, the giant fossils, the idea that there were 20-foot people or something. I'd love to hear your view on that one.
Yeah, all of the ones that have ever been found have all been faked, and they have been shown to be fake. There's one that was up in New York that they found.
Yes, but the ancient alien people think that.
Oh yeah, no, that's bullshit. That's bullshit because one of the things one of my areas of interest happens to be pretty much the lineage of humans, and if anything, we are getting larger as time goes on.
Getting larger.
Take for instance, back in the day of Napoleon Bonaparte, he was known for being short.
No, he wasn't. Yeah.
Well,
but that's a fraud. He was actually
because
about 5'10"
he was an average. He was like anywhere between 5'8" and 5'10", and that was average for the time period. But because it would just be funnier.
Exactly.
People would always call him short.
Yeah, the cartoons. Exactly. Because the British, the English wanted to, make him out to be not as dangerous as he looked.
Well, no,
he wasn't a midget.
This is an alert from Mad Dodge Productions. This conversation will be continued. I would love to actually talk about this maybe Wednesday, if we could set it up.
Well, no, you can just fuck off and it'll end in 15 minutes. You can
No, I can't. So,
yeah, you
good
can.
night.
Yeah.
Good luck.
Yeah,
it's been a great red eye. I appreciate it, everybody. We're out of here.